of casual fans don't know anything about boxing. They don't. The majority of casual fans don't know anything about boxing. So what they do is they'll choose a fighter just based on similar perspectives. And even though I have a similar perspective with a fighter, I can separate that from who I think is going to win. A lot of people can't. So I could really like Errol Spence. But if I thought Errol Spence was going to lose to somebody, I'm perfectly separated from my likeness of him to tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of boxers put it this way. You remember back in the day when they were making Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant into rivals?
Yep.
Even though one was flashier than the other, but the other one was clearly better, they're making them into rivals. Do you remember what people used to say? It was never about shit that happened on the court. They would say, "Well, I run with Iverson. Iverson got he ain't had no daddy like me. He from the hood like me. He didn't have no daddy like me. He from the hood like me. It had nothing to do with sports. I just don't like him because his father taught him everything. These are psychological issues. The reason why they were choosing Allen Iverson. Mind you, I love Allen Iverson, and I believe when people didn't realize that Allen Iverson did have a father. The media minimized his dad's role. Allen Iverson said all the time, "Why y'all keep saying I don't have a father? I got a dad. My dad lived right down the street. He just didn't live with us."
Yep.
But I always had a father. He went down the street to be with his father and shit. Literally, in Newport News, his father lived 2 blocks away. But they say he ain't had no father. See how they did that? So because they knew to sell him, they had to sell him to the majority of black men who don't have fathers. Now, now they did Bud Crawford the same way. Come to find out, reports are coming out. Bud Crawford had a father. I don't know how strong his dad was in his life, but you see how the women in his life have a more premier role, a dominant role. But they marketed him as what? As a nigga who didn't have no daddy. So you got a lot of these guys who didn't have fathers in their lives, who women dominated their lives, who they feel they owe their prime to their mothers, not to themselves. You really owe your prime in your life to God, first and foremost, and to your purpose. But they want us to owe the prime of our life to women.
Yeah.
So they have to separate the two because you see Errol Spence who lives in his purpose. And you can see that he has faith in God as well.
Yep.
And he has another thing, honor and a superior honor and respect for who? His father. You can tell he loves his mother to death. I guarantee you Errol Spence will probably kill somebody over his mother. But at the end of the day, what separates him from the majority of black athletes is the open praise of his father. And you know why they hated Floyd Mayweather Jr.? Even though he had battles with his dad, because they both used to be fighters, the open praise that he always had of his father.
Yep.
Yeah, my dad taught me this. My dad. That's not what they want for black men. So they created this dichotomy to where we root against our own best self-interest. Truth be told, there should be nothing wrong or nothing derogatory about having a father in your life. Nothing. But because they separated the black community by how you should be living versus how shit is, you have this dichotomy of people who don't like Errol Spence because he had a dad in him on. Oh, you had it, so I'm going over Crawford, or the fact that Crawford got that dog in him, man. Like Crawford, he ain't gonna box with you. He's just gonna get in there and fight, man. He gonna go toe to toe. He's just gonna do whatever. Whereas a man should be getting praised for his logic, doing things smart and efficient, not going toe to toe, not wasting effort, not, you know what I'm saying? So this is bigger than boxing. Boxing has, I always said this, and people should get mad people should get mad at me when I first came to your channel in the comment section. So I always illuminated the fact that sports is always bigger than an actual sport. It's always political. It's always racist, and people don't understand what political is. Political is basically war without bloodshed. And they do it through what? Through creating fucking laws. They create these laws so they could punish you and they could fight you without having to kill you, but they're killing you slowly through the laws. That's politics. That's politics, man. That's what people do not understand. And they use sports to do that. I know I'm cooking. I know you probably like, man, you being long-winded, but I have to kind of to drive this home because a lot of people might not get it. Might go over a lot of people's heads. Back in the day,
now I'm just being a choir right now. I'm being the congregation. I'm just listening.
Yeah, back in the day, he knows it's from Miami, so he's probably too young. Now we were both young enough to know these guys were playing for championships, but we probably wasn't old enough to understand the politics of it. But back in the day, Miami in the 80s, they had the best college football team probably to ever be assembled. But they were routinely getting called thugs, rapists, all type of things, and the bad guys because it was a majority black team, and the white team, Notre Dame, routinely be called the good guys because there's a majority white team. See how they use sports and politics? See how they use sports and politics to say certain things? And they do that right now. To most white people, Bud Crawford is the good guy because he's backed by the white system. Errol Spence is the bad guy. What makes him the bad guy? Not because he did anything bad, but he believes in black empowerment, black business, being a father, showing respect to black fathers. All this shit upsets their apple cart and upsets their control over us. So they got to go with a Bud. Make him be a good guy, but deep down, he's a detriment. Not to his own doing. He was raised to be that way. But men like him are a detriment to our society because they don't understand, they don't respect the black masculinity.
So when you support Terence Crawford, the thing is the white man has perpetuated in your mind that supporting Terence Crawford, unbeknownst to you, is basically supporting the division of the black home. Basically, you don't like the unification of the black home. You don't like a father and a mother in the home. Now, I understand that Terence Crawford's dad has just showed up. It's kind of like Kevin Durant's dad just showed up. Kind of like Shaquille O'Neal's dad showed up. The reason why I say just showed up is we know that there are fathers in the black community when their sons have finally risen to a certain level of celebrity. They want to just show up. Dennis Rodman talked about this too. They just want to show up. I have not seen Terence Crawford out of his own mouth say or speak about his father in any positive light, or has even mentioned his father in the sense of, yeah, my father was around, kind of like how you mentioned with Allen Iverson. So clearly he was in a mama's boy situation. The father came around in later years, and now it's more of a, okay, you're around now, you're my father, let's figure it out. Whereas with Errol Spence, he talks about his father in terms of upbringing. He talks about his father in terms of, this is how he raised us. And you could see how proud he was that even when his father interjected in the press conference and said, we Jamaican, we smoke buds. And his son, you saw what he did. He fell in line from that old elder statesman alpha to the younger alpha. He fell in line. And what did he say? We Jamaican. I don't know about you, but we smoke bud. He repeated what his father said. Didn't go against the grain. He didn't do anything. When you have that true father-son connection, a son will always fall in line and repeat what the father says, but echoes it even louder. That's how you could tell the difference in the nuance. And I have my boy Wood Stay Real TV so many years ago said that the Errol Spence and the Terence Crawford fight is going to divide two types of niggas. You're going to have the real niggas and you're going to have the fake niggas. And what you see is that's that ideology that you're seeing that's being perpetuated. The white fan base, ESPN, when Errol Spence said that Terence Crawford is smoke and mirrors, that's what he was alluding to. It was a deeper image picture. The whole hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. That whole nonsense with that, when Terence Crawford does that nonsense, the hit me, I'm gonna hit you back is a feminine trait. Most women, when you box them into a corner, what do? They try to hit you back. Tick for tack. That's what hit me, I'm gonna hit you back is. It's a tick for tack. So Terence Crawford, it's been embedded in him. It's been rooted in him to have the mama's boy ideologies. This is not just a boxing thing. This is a thing that he's had from early onset of childhood behavior. Hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. This is why no matter how he's trained to fight, he's going to go into his flawed feminine trait of hit me, I'm going to hit you back. So what is Errol Spence in the masculine trait going to do? He's going to punish him.
Right.
He's going to put him in a corner and he's going to drop dumbbells on him. You see, if you truly understand masculinity and femininity, you truly understand alpha, beta, this fight, this is what it is. It's basically the North versus the South, attraction and magnet. It's masculine versus feminine. It's Adam versus Eve. That's what it is. Yes, I said it. Terence Crawford is the female in this situation. Errol Spence is not fighting a male, so it's not even fair. He's actually fighting a female. You know how they always say male and female shouldn't fight in the same sport? And people are like, man, you being disrespectful, but I'm being honest here. He's fighting a female. So really, Errol Spence probably at the end of this fight might get some charges on him. If I'm being honest with myself. Because he's not fighting somebody that represents who he is. He's not fighting another male in the ring. He's fighting a male that basically is a male on the outer shell, but he's really a feminine. He's really a female on the inside of the shell because he distributes nothing but feminine traits. You saw it when they did the pull-up. The same trait. That's why I would say, Chihuahua barking behind the damn fence. When Errol Spence pulled up, what did Terence Crawford do? Like a Chihuahua. Came following behind him. Oh, yeah, man. I saw that you was coming. Errol Spence said, nah, nigga, I knew you was been coming. You see the difference? Right. I knew your ass was here, nigga. I showed up because I knew you was coming. He was barking the whole time. Do the stanky leg. When a nigga dance in front of a nigga, who have you seen dance in front of who? It's always been a female dancing in front of a guy to get the guy's attention. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. You guys have to look at this for what it is. He's trying to buy and get Errol Spence's attention. Now, I know we laughing this shit off, we joking it, but in all reality, all of the body languages and the actions are showing to you who's superior and who's inferior. This is why it's a very easy fight to call. To be honest with you guys, this is one of the easiest fights that Errol Spence has had at the welterweight division in a very long time. The Udenis Ugas fight was a whole lot harder. Because the Udenis Ugas fight, you saw what this guy brought to the table. He brought a Cuban amateur Cuban amateur background pedigree. The Danny Garcia fight was a lot harder than this fight because Danny Garcia was masculine still. Danny Garcia distributes a lot of masculine traits. I actually respect the way Danny Garcia moves outside of the rings. The way he has his women in line, they always cooking his meals. They know their place and shit like that. Listen, man, these guys in their fights were way more impactful than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford tells you that he is weak by nature. When he has his sister go on Twitter and talk on his behalf, he should know how to put his sister in his place and say, you don't talk for me. Right. You should never run your mouth for me. You should never be in my affairs.
You should be saying things that you run
always running their mouths for him.
You should be saying things that you run across me first. And if I decide you can say that, then go ahead and say it. Obviously, you're better at Twitter than I am. She is better at Twitter than him. But you have to run across what you say to me. And it got to be more professional than how you come.
But you could tell that it's not that she's doing. It's not approved by him. She's doing it like a bigger sister that had really dominated him. That's kind of like more masculine than him. She's more masculine than him, and she's just kind of putting out her ideologies and her personality. One time they was at odds, right, with the whole Bob Arum situation. She called out Bob Arum. She had more nutsacks than he did. She called out Bob Arum, and then he goes like the happy Negro slave that he is. I'm gonna re-sign with Top Rank. You could tell there was a little issue that was going on in the ranks between the both of them, but it was happening behind the scenes. She didn't say nothing. She got very quiet. I didn't see her on Twitter for damn near a good almost a year. And then what Kell Brook does, and that shit was funny as fuck. Kell Brook was like, well, Terence Crawford, you a bitch, so fuck you, man. I don't really respect you like that. Let me go holler at your sister. He tried to holler at his sister. You saw that shit, right? He tried to holler at his sister. Yeah, he tried to holler at his sister when she was talking shit to Kell Brook, saying, man, Kell Brook, my brother gonna fuck you up, da-da-da-da-da. And this is what Kell Brook said. I like them sassy. You know what that shit mean. Right. I like when they run their mouth like that. Girl, the things I would do to you. That's what he was saying. And then she started laughing and shit like that. And you would think Terence Crawford, who was standing there, mind you, he would get involved and he'd be like, you know what? Don't you fucking talk to my sisters like that. Da, 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 da. Let that shit ride. Because when you're a mama's boy, you're trained that when the females are speaking and the females are moving, you have to keep your mouth shut. They're the ones that are the dominant people in the household. This is why I know this fight is very easy to call, because Terence Crawford has been conditioned in a very feminine way. Errol Spence has been conditioned in a masculine way. So really it's just a masculine trait going up against a feminine trait. And if you look at the outcome of the fight, Errol Spence is going to win this shit easy by wash.
Right.
We've seen this when in the MMA fight. We've seen this in track where they've taken transgendered, which we know they are fucking males, and put them in races or in fights against females. What have happened? Completely obliterated them.
Right.
Completely washed them.
Right. But
so
what I don't like
what this fight is, it's a wash.
What I don't like about boxing fans can never just take what you say at face value. They always have to put a caveat to it. So are you saying it's going to be an easy fight, like an early stoppage? An early stoppage don't necessarily mean an easy fight. Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns. Marvin Hagler got an early stoppage, third rounds. That was not an easy fight.
Yep.
He had his whole face split open. He almost got stopped himself. The ref let him continue. Then the next round, he stopped Tommy Hearns. Early stoppage is not always an easy fight, man. Tyson Fury got a stoppage over Deontay Wilder in one of the rematches. That wasn't an easy fight. Tyson Fury was dropped twice.
Yep.
And he got a stoppage. That wasn't easy. He could have lost that fight. So just an early stoppage, not an easy fight is when one fighter was never really in any true danger while he dominated the other fight, even if it goes 12 rounds.
And I'm going to give you an example of that fight, and people clown that fight, but it was Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia. Garcia never had a fucking chance.
Errol Spence versus Mike Garcia was easy. Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao was easy. Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus
you know what? The one that I like with Floyd, that's my favorite one. With Juan Manuel Marquez, because he took 2.5 years off, and he just washed that dude.
Well, Marquez was easy. And the fact of the matter is, we've been the only ones who said this was going to be an easy fight from the gate.
Yep.
So you must be new to the channel. We said this was going to be an easy fight from the gate. Everybody else was saying this is going to be a hard fight. This is a 50-50 fight. That's what people say, but they're not bold enough to say what was really on their mind. Majority of the time, very few people predict draws. A 50-50 fight is you saying the fight going to be a draw.
Yep.
But they don't say that. They say it's going to be a 50-50 fight, and then they go on to explain it. And when you listen to the explanation, they're leaning towards one fighter, but they don't have the dick and the balls to say, this is what I'm going to say.
And it's interesting you said that, because I don't understand, because there's two types of niggas. We've been around niggas. There's two types of niggas. There's niggas from New York and there's niggas from Texas. How the fuck you from Texas and you making videos saying this is how Terence Crawford needs to show up to beat Errol Spence? That shouldn't even be coming out your fucking mouth. When you from Texas, you definitive. I was in the military and I was with two dudes that were some of my best friends that was from Texas, because I felt like their ideologies was very similar to how we are in Florida, but they was even more extreme. One was from Dallas and the other one was from Houston. And man, the way that those guys moved, even though they were from different areas in Texas, it was them versus everybody else. All I can remember was they would use terms, and that's why I remember the term. This Texas, already, stay ready. They embedded these terms in my head because I hear them say this shit all the fucking time. So that's how I knew it was from Texas. Already, stay ready. This Texas. And they would let motherfuckers know.
Yeah.
They'd be like, this Texas. And I'm like, damn, what the fuck is wrong with these guys? Right. But they were extreme. Like, it was Texas or bust. So if you from Texas, it's sacrilegious for you to even make, as a content creator, videos to say this is how Terence Crawford needs to fight. That shouldn't even be coming out of your mouth. You should be talking about how Errol Spence is going to be bulldozing and steamrolling this nigga.
Right.
But it goes back to what Ross said. Niggas don't have dicks and balls to stand on shit.
Gotta understand that's a political stance. And politics by nature, war by nature is very masculine. Politics, the secret wars, is very feminine. Because politics is gossiping. You start gossip about somebody else to get an upper hand about countries. You create little secret laws people don't know about, and a sleight of hand that's more feminine, right?
Yep.
So the reason why somebody would feel one way but present themselves to feel another way, or to low key like teeter the fence, is because, truth be told, they didn't have fathers in their lives. That's what their mothers did. Don't your mother have a friend over, drink all night, and then the next day you hear her talking to about somebody else about their friend and all their business? Do you know that's a power move, a power play?
Yep.
It's a political move. And when you're
gaslighting 101.
And when you're a feminine man, you always live in the politics. You don't understand how to use war and politics at the same time. You always live in the politics when you're a feminine man. Always. So you will always be in a predicament when your boss asks you a very direct question. You'll always consider, how is this going to make him feel, and how should I answer this so that I'm not on his bad side. Whereas a man will just answer the question.
Yep.
Regardless. If you say something to be on the boss' good side, then so be it. If you say, but he's not filtering his words to stay on people's good side or bad side. He's just speaking. But when you're a feminine male, you're making sure everything that comes out of your mouth is in a position to where you could be on the side of power, and you could also jump and be with somebody else if need be. This is, I don't respect people who are always waffling and who are always on the fence. Sometimes, some situations.
Donate to motivate. Shout outs to King Styles Productions for sending $5. And he said, salute to the Double Dragons. He sent it via Cash App. Go ahead, Ross.
Salute, man. Salute. Every time y'all send some money, I'm going to give a hand clap, man. But at the end of the motherfucking day, when it comes down to it, that's what that's all about. That on the fence shit, 9 times out of 10, you either had a feminine man as a dad in your life, or you would have had no father in your life, and you seen your mother never fully commit to anything.
Yep.
Because it's not in their nature to fully commit. They don't even fully commit to your father. Your father has to day by day emphasize how much an alpha he is and how much she needs him.
Yep.
Just by the way he carries himself. If he ever slips up, ever so slightly, she will be on to the next strong branch.
Go ahead, Ross. He said, Tom Ross, check your Venmo. So he obviously sent one for each of us.
All right. I mean, that's cool if you're going to split it up like that, but it kind of makes us hard to keep up with. We normally get it to one account and split it up. But thank you, man. Appreciate it. Let's get a haircut to King Styles.
Yeah.
A haircut to King Styles, man.
Yes. Salute to you. Salute to you, King Styles, man. This is what we're talking about, man. Donate to motivate, because at the end of the day, nobody's telling you guys this stuff and breaking it down from a real Black family geographical dichotomy, and then interweaving it back into boxing, because that's what's going on. What you guys are seeing when you see content creation, when you see opera singers, opera singers, those are feminine fucking traits. When you see caca fucking roaches, la cucarachas, yo no puedo caminar, those are feminine traits. When you see guys that are consistent and authentic, like the way Errol Spence's style is, notice how my videos are. My videos are like a poetic symmetry. This is why people, they get so emotional and they feel like my videos are polarizing. If you pay attention to my videos are line upon line and precept upon precept. I do that on purpose. It matches Errol Spence's style. You know what's coming. You can't fucking stop it. You hate it. It's polarizing, but it's consistent. Just like I'm consistently giving you that verbal, unlimited pressure, he's giving you that physical, unlimited pressure. But one thing that you see is the masculine consistency that's behind it. And that's the difference. This is why I've been begged to come back. This is why people keep saying why you want to deal with this, why you want to deal with that, etc., etc. Well, the bottom line is this. I've been rooting for Errol Spence since what year? 2018? And it's 2023 right now. I must be doing something right for 5 years. If this motherfucker keep winning, I must be doing something right.
Yep. Just how you can tell it's personal. Because when it's just the eyeball test, you're looking at skill, there's no way to deny Errol Spence's skill. I remember first catching on to him. I think it was around the Leonard Bundu when I first caught up to him, or the Van Herden, one of those. And just seeing and of course no. Well, I first knew of him was when Mayweather called his name out. I think after they sparred, that's when I first knew of him. But the first fight I called, I think it was Leonard Bundu or Herden, I forget which one. But there's no way you could watch him box and not understand that he's better at what he does than Crawford.
Exactly.
Crawford has too many holes. He's too sloppy. He gets caught flush by everybody.
Defensively irresponsible.
You could count on one hand how many times Errol Spence been caught flush and been hurt. Crawford been hurt
by smaller guys.
Damn near every fight.
Yep. And in every way too. Upstairs to the body.
To the body.
You know, he's been hit with awkward shots. He's been hit with everything that you can think of, man.
Right. So this ain't personal. If I really liked Errol Spence, but I really thought Crawford was a better fighter, I would say so.
Exactly.
I'm not emotionally connected to these fighters on when it comes to what happens in the ring.
Neither am I.
I root for fighters outside the ring because I like the way they think, their principles and all that shit. But that doesn't come into my judgment of how I call a fight. I just don't see no way Terence Crawford can win this fight. He's not Floyd. The problem is people are liking him. They're likening him to Floyd Mayweather. That's the problem.
They did the same mistake with Mikey Garcia. Didn't they call him the Mexican Mayweather? And what happened to him?
Right. And a lot of people like to say a fight is 50-50, but if somebody's better than somebody, then how's it 50-50?
Exactly.
How's it
50-50? You're countering your own argument. And here's the thing too, Ross. I am not a fan of Errol Spence. A fan of somebody is someone that follows a fighter on social media. There's content creators, you could tell they're fans of Errol Spence because when they get around Errol Spence, it's like they're like groupies and shit. I see the way they react. And on top of that, they follow him on social media and all that. The shit that I say about Errol Spence, it comes from here, the dome. I don't follow him. I'm just one take. I just put a video in front of me. I put my phone in front of me. Anybody knows that. And whatever comes out of my mouth is whatever comes out of my mouth in that moment. I don't even think what I say. If I see a quick title on something, I don't even really watch the video like that. I'll just watch one thing that I don't like. I can hear, and then I could make a 5-10 minute video off of that. Now, if I go and watch the whole thing, I probably could make 20-30 minutes off of the shit.
Right.
But it is what it is. I am a believer of Errol Spence's abilities because just like Dante's Boxing Nation was a believer of Floyd Mayweather's abilities and it paid off for him, I'm a believer of Errol Spence's abilities and it's paid off for me because they call him the truth. There's no lies in his fist. He's what you would say in today's current fighter that is the closest thing to a perfect fighter because he does what the coach tells him to do. Everything he does in the training camp, it basically reciprocates and it showcases in the fucking ring. So that's not a person who is a fan of someone. It's just, this is the problem with most men. Most men that are what we would say women, they cannot sit here and tell you that there's a difference between one person and everybody else. They believe in their minds there's parity. Life doesn't have parity. You see that between rich and poor and middle class. You see that in the ranks of finance. You see that in the ranks of guys getting all the women versus guys that don't get all of the women. You see the difference in the class. Life isn't parity. So how the hell you think boxers are parity? How the hell you think boxers are 50-50? There's one motherfucker that lords over. There's one motherfucker that dominates. When Floyd was doing that, niggas was hating because they couldn't stand that one dude was doing that. Now Errol Spence, Kobe Bryant's the situation. He comes too soon and he does it, and they have a problem with that. So really, it's not a problem with me. They just have a problem that, damn, this nigga can't be that fucking good.
You know what? I've known that because I've used that before, now in this situation. But the fact that you put that all together is marvelous, man. I gotta give you credit for the simple fact. That's exactly what it is. But that's a beta male point of view. Because I remember back and being in high school, and I remember in 8th grade, it was more easy for me to keep it a secret. That girl, because a lot of the girls who like me actually already had boyfriends. They just like me on the low. But a lot of girls I was dealing with already in high school. But in high school, I wasn't able to keep it a secret so much that girls like me because it was more easy to see. And now the girls who like me still go to the same school. They just older than me. Now, the biggest haters was girls I didn't like or didn't know that they like me, and homosexual guys were the biggest haters. When you're one guy who a lot, you don't even necessarily got to be sleeping with these girls. They just know girls like you. You will get a lot of hatred. You will get a lot of hatred. You will have guys saying back, like literally, like women said, "Man, those girls don't really like you. Who started that rumor?" What masculine man says that? What masculine man cares what girls like another man?
Exactly.
Who cares?
Exactly.
What man will say that?
Damn. Damn, dog. Did you just put that out there? Yeah. I mean, the behaviors sound very similar. The behaviors do sound very similar. They do. You must have been around this channel for a long time to be able to mention that name.
You got to understand one thing. That's a feminine behavior. I could say this and be totally honest. When it comes to another boy or another male, girls like it, I've never been jealous of another of another girl. Never, man. I've never been jealous in that way ever. But I was raised to have a lot of confidence. I was raised with love. I had masculine males in my life who showed me love, who didn't make me compete with like for their attention and shit. So I never had that unction. I got to compete for somebody's attention. So I never looked at it as if that's something I should hate on. But a lot of guys, that's natural to them to see somebody dominating in something and to say, "Man, I'm tired of seeing Tom Brady win. I want him to dominate." Instead of saying you would rather see more competition in the NFL. The way you word things shows how effeminate you are. Everybody wants to see competition, but to say you just want to see him lose because you're tired of seeing him win is feminine. Because
the natural position would be like, damn, you're so dominant. I want to know how you're so dominant so I could be dominant like that.
I can respect it. You can understand that's a feminine trait because even your own family members, if they're feminine or if they're a feminine male or if they're a woman, if you start succeeding too much, they'll want to see you go through some adversity.
Yep.
Naturally. When you want to see people go through adversity and go through pain and struggle, you are feminine.
Yep.
When you on your shit, the first person who's gonna try to bring you down is gonna be your woman. Because she's tired of seeing you smile and her not being the reason why you smile.
Exactly.
So she want to see you go through some shit that way she can come behind it and be like, everything's gonna be okay, baby, blase, blase, blase. That's how
they want the credit. They don't want that the credit came from another source.
That's how feminine people are. That's how they are. They didn't
even with the other sources in their benefit, they still. I dealt with that shit in my fucking marriage, man. Even when the source is when the situation or the source is from a different source, it could benefit the overall. They feel in their minds that because they're not the ones directly impacting the benefit, it's a problem, man. And this is where you got to understand. This is the difference in ideologies between Spence and Crawford. When you root for Crawford, you tell us exactly who the fuck you are. Clearly.
Oh, hold on. I wrote that wrong. So don't click on
it. I'm gonna go back to the original one that you put up.
I'm about to do it again.
All right.
Yeah, man. So what you have here, right? You would have somebody who's saying, I know Terence Crawford is gonna lose. But let me make caveats. So when he does lose, I can say he would have won if this, or he would have won if that. It's kind of like what they do with with LeBron James, right? Because the same people root for LeBron James, root for Bud Crawford, because they're not really fans of LeBron James. They're really Kobe Bryant haters. They're really Errol Spence haters. They're not really fans of him, right? So these people see things in caveats. They're not resolute in anything. So it's not that person just lost. It is what it is. If he didn't get bullied, he would have won. Or if he wasn't, or Errol Spence wasn't stronger than him, he would have won. But Floyd Mayweather-Jr. beat everybody, whether they were stronger than him or not. Still won. Floyd Mayweather Jr. They said box with Errol Spence over 2-3 hours, man. Off and on. 15-minute rounds, 8-minute rounds, 7-minute rounds. He still went on to have a second career after that. When you skilled, you could do that. Bud Crawford and Floyd Mayweather is not the same, man. Bud Crawford will get stopped in this fight. Or he'll go 12 rounds and never be the same again. Because it takes a high level of skill to be in there with somebody stronger than you and just a skill and not get your career ended. Bud Crawford do not have those skills. He's not capable of doing that. He doesn't have the discipline. He don't have the boxing IQ. He don't have the dog in him. When he gets hit, when Crawford gets hurt, he starts running. He don't have the dog in him. He can't bite down like that. The only time you see Crawford bite down and dig deep when he's fighting against a smaller opponent. But Crawford is really the one that's the weight bully in this situation. He weight bullied through 135 and he weight bullied through 140. He was bigger than those guys. That's the only reason why he's able to beat them, because he didn't show any boxing skill. He wasn't slipping. He was getting caught and trading punches. He just don't happen to hit harder than Gamboa for a longer period of time. Gamboa ran out of steam. But he got hurt by Gamboa. Imagine that.
You know, sometimes I sit back and I listen to people and I get in awe. I was working out yesterday at Planet Fitness and this dude was going to the fight. And that was the first, you know, I was jealous and envious of the fact that he's actually going to the fight, because he was talking about going to the fight. What's up, Asante L, man? Shout outs to you, man. Salute to Asante L, because he's one of the only dudes that actually kept it real about the Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson situation. So I got to give you credit for that, man. You actually said, man, stop these niggas. I don't like what Devin Haney and them is doing. It should be a 40 split, a 45% split. They just, how can you shit on one brother shitting on the other brother? I like that, man. You came at it from that angle. Like, you don't take money out of a brother's hand when you know Bob Arum taking 30%. Like, this nigga should get 40 to 45%. So salute to you for saying that, man. I even used your comment as one on my thumbnail for one of my videos. But anyways, going back to this, Ross, with fucking Errol Spence, right? The dude that at Planet Fitness, he impressed me because this is what he said. And you used to box, so he used to box. So he told me this. You're gonna be like, yeah, that nigga used to box. He said, this is how Errol Spence is gonna break down Terence Crawford. I said, who you picking? He said, I'm picking Errol Spence. He said, Errol Spence not gonna break him down from the body. He's gonna break him down from both shoulders. Then once both shoulders are broken down, then he's gonna break down the gut. He's gonna break down the liver, spleen. Then once he breaks down the liver, spleen, what you're gonna start seeing from round 8 to 10, he's gonna fuck him up from up top. And then you're gonna see it's probably gonna be an uppercut, or it's probably gonna be a hook that's gonna drop Terence Crawford. I was like, damn, when you said shoulder, break that shoulder shit down. He said, well, he's gonna stop his ability from being able to throw punches. Once he starts the ability from throwing punches, then you're gonna see in the middle rounds the body's gonna get fucking broken down. Then once you start seeing the body get broken down, and let me explain what I mean by that. You're gonna see Terence Crawford start hunching over. He's gonna basically start leaning on Spence. When you see a fighter start leaning on a guy and they lean on them, that means the body's broken down. And then when Spence sees that, then he's gonna go ahead and fuck him up upstairs. I'm like, so where you got the stoppage? Said 8 rounds. Gonna TKO or KO him at 8. Yeah, but he gonna fuck him up. He just gonna fuck him up. He said it just like that. I'm like,
it's gonna be easy work. and here's something to consider. Mm-hmm. This is how you know Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather Jr. is nowhere near the same level. Mm-hmm. Nowhere near the same level. And because Floyd was fighting against the way bigger fighter in my mind. But in that fight, do you remember when Floyd was going to the body and he was crunching mine down and over? Yep. This is what he's talking about when he started leaning on you and when their body start crunching up because you fucking them up, right?
Yep.
So now he's doing that to a bigger fighter. Errol Spence is going to be doing that to a naturally smaller fighter. Mm-hmm. But at 147, people always say, well, somebody's the weight bully just because they naturally bigger. Nobody's never the same size, man.
Yep.
They weigh in at a certain weight, but how you carry your body is your bone structure that makes you bigger than somebody. Mm-hmm. And it's your height. Because depending on your bone structure and your height, that means you could put on weight and it could be more proportion on you. So you could get bigger and stronger than somebody else who wanted to get so big.
Yep.
They're like 5'6". So they only need to do is to get wider. But they can't get taller and bigger and put on more. That's why Tyson Fury could get up to 290 fucking pounds. Because he's 6'9". You know what I'm saying? So that's how boxing. Nobody's never been very few people are the exact same size when they box. And for people to think you got to be the exact same size or else one's a weight bully, that's false, man. Because the weight bully, what a weight bully does is Canelo's a weight bully. So what he does is he contracts a fight for a catch weight and a rehydration clause. And within the catch weight and the rehydration clause is the weight that he's comfortable fighting in. Yep. So he don't allow you to weigh in at what you comfortable at, and he don't allow you to rehydrate to what you're comfortable to. But he's perfect. That's a weight bully.
Yep.
Y'all don't know what y'all be talking about, man. At all. That's the problem here. Mm-hmm. Oh, and another thing, for everybody that don't understand this, another reason why Errol Spence is going to walk through Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford, people don't realize he got a cardio issue too. Terence Crawford has slightly better cardio than Canelo. They fight in spurts and they fight towards the end of a round or when they get hit. Errol Spence Jr. fights the whole round, every round to the end of the fight. I'll say that again. Errol Spence fights the whole round, every round to the end of the fight. And people might say, well, towards Floyd's later career, Floyd fought in spurts. You could do that when you're superior to everybody you fight. You could do that because every time you swing, you connect down there. Terence Crawford isn't as accurate as Floyd Mayweather Jr. They should not be in the same sentence. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the Devin Haney is concerned, right now, Devin Haney and I feel like the only person that's worth my respect and the only person I can say that will fight anybody is Tank Davis. Mm-hmm. I feel like both Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson are both capping. They don't really want to fight each other, so they're looking for the perfect money. Want to know why? I'll say it like this. If Shakur Stevenson really wanted those belts, then he would take that. Even though it's fucked up, because Floyd did it. If Devin Haney really wanted to fight Shakur Stevenson, he would make the fight no matter what. Errol Spence really want to fight Bud, so he's making the fight, even though Bud don't really want to fight. You know, Bud don't really want to fight because Bud has priced himself out. And Errol Spence said, fuck it, I'll go in the bank and give you money for the fight. Mm-hmm. That's how you know one of them really want to fight. Neither one of these guys want to fight. Mm-hmm. They don't. So, and another reason why you know Shakur don't really want to eat it unless it's at the right price, because he don't. And when you want it like that, Floyd had the most confidence in himself. Even though he wasn't getting the right price, he still took the fight because he knew he was going to win. When you don't think you're going to win, you do what Bud do. Bud asked for money he know he don't deserve, man. He know he don't deserve that money. And he asking for it because he thought Spence wasn't going to give it to him. Shakur he know Devin Haney ain't going to give him that money. That's the reason why he asking for that amount. You know what I'm saying? Neither one of these guys want to make the fight. They both wanted to fight. They would come together, and it wouldn't be on Twitter.
I think they need to. I think they could. I hear what you're saying, and what you're saying is what you're saying is not false. What you're saying is actually true. It's just, I had to do this. It's sad that I had to do this, but when I had a conversation with Richie Rich, he really said something profound that made me say, you know what? If I don't do this, then there's gonna be a problem in my head. He said, "He's like, big bro, you have to. Otherwise you're gonna hate everything. You have to adjust your mind that just things are not the same. Guys are not what they were before. This generation now is not what the generation was before. So if you don't adjust your mind, you're gonna hate everything." And I said to see the wisdom behind that. Those guys are not Floyd. They don't have Floyd's mindset. So they're not gonna move the way Floyd is. When you look at Errol Spence is like Kobe, right? Kobe's the last of the Mohicans. That's that old school mentality when Earl's like, oh, no. You trying to duck. So I'm gonna still give you everything so that you don't run from this fight because I want the fucking fight. Because Stephen Espinoza said, man, Terence Crawford don't deserve none of that shit. But Earl made the fight fucking happen. Devin Haney, look, you don't have the namesake. You don't have the popularity. Don't nobody fucking know you. You really want to fight Shakur Stevenson? If you came out your mouth and say, I will fight everyone, I'm the best. I'm all about the best fighting the best. If that is the case with you, make the fight happen with Shakur Stevenson because you said that out of your own mouth. Plus, y'all know Bob Arum. Bob Arum will rob brothers. He's known for that. He's taking 30%. So when you tell a guy 25% cut from Bob Arum's 30%, that motherfucker ain't really making money.
That's true. That's true, but he knows you're a businessman.
If he get 40% cut off of Bob Arum's 30, he gonna walk away with some kind of bread.
That's true, but he knows me and you're a businessman. That's a favor for him to do that. That's a favor. It's not his fault that he went over there and did business with Bob. Everybody knows Bob's a snake. Now, you're not wrong because brothers be supposed to look out for each other. But in business, that's a favor.
Yeah.
You know that. In business, that's a favor for him to do that. Because at some point, the choices you make, they're going to bite you in the ass. All these people come to boxing. First thing they do, majority of them, they run the Bob. Then 3 years later, they're crying that they're not getting paid. Right. Floyd Mayweather Jr. gave them the blueprint. Everybody want to be Floyd, but nobody want to do what Floyd did. Everybody want to hate on Errol Spence, but nobody want to do what Errol Spence did. What did Floyd do? Floyd took the hardest fights for the least money in the first 10 years of his career. Then, once he became the top dog, he named his price and motherfuckers had to honor it. What did Errol Spence do? Errol Spence did not lead this weight class until he beat every pertinent champion. He didn't go chase easy belts. He didn't go chase easy paydays. He didn't do that. He fought. He stayed in his weight class, but he could have been left to clean him out. This is the Marvin Hagler way, the Errol Spence way, and the Floyd way. Now, after he cleans out 147, he will be able to name his price. You think he got it? He didn't get his way against he didn't get his way against Kell Brook. You know what I'm saying? He not getting his way now against Terence Crawford. He not really getting his way. He getting the fight. He not really getting the shit that he deserved. But after he gets undisputed, he'll get what he wants going forward. You gotta take losses, man. That's why I'm saying on both sides. I'm hearing a lot of motherfucking cap, man. I'm hearing a lot of motherfucking cap on both sides, man. Because one nigga tried to shame the PBC and said they don't like to fight and they scared to fight each other. Devin Haney did that. So I'm hearing a lot of cap by him making all these excuses why he can't make this fight happen. And on the other side, Shakur Stevenson got in that ring and said Devin Haney didn't win that fight. He don't deserve that fight. Blase. He came in and he stepped on his shine. Now all of a sudden you're not doing whatever it takes to make the fight. Whenever Errol Spence and people saying, I know what you said. They not the same, but the standard is the standard.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was told your brother. They might not be the same, but the standard will always be the standard. You know what
Man, that's what I said that. I said that, but I saw the wisdom behind what he said, because in being able to reframe my mind that way, I now feel better that I don't have to, because I'm always so utterly disgusted with every damn thing.
Well, I'm different from you. I'm not disgusted by the niggas, but I still hold to the standard. Like, yeah,
because I'm so heavy-handed with everything. So it's like I'm so always utterly disgusted with everything, because I feel like the standard should be there. But reframing my mind that way, it's made me adjust.
It's not personal.
It's not personal. And see, this is why I always say, no matter who you're talking to, you can always learn something. You always can get wisdom from the situation. And now I don't really feel as bad, because I just say, okay, the niggas, they're just weaker in this generation. They're not what they used to be. And now I feel better saying that. Like it's a weight off my shoulder. Okay, they just weaker minded. They just weaker motherfuckers. So because of that, the standard's not going to be the same. So it is what it is. But here's the thing, and this is what I want to tell you guys. I know you guys feel like I'm being heavy-handed about the Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson situation, but this is something everybody could relate to, because I see this comment from Mr. Vegas. See, he's saying that I'm not going to tell a fighter what to take money-wise. All I'm going to say is sign the contract. I want to see greatness. I hear you. I hear you guys want the fight to happen, but here's the thing. It's a prize fight. These guys are prize fighters. They fight for a prize. When you say the first comment of you're not going to tell a fighter what to take money-wise, every fighter should be in a position to be able, from a business standpoint, they all, whether you want to see it or not, boxers are businessmen. From a business standpoint, they should be able to market themselves and be able to make the most amount of money they can make at any potential fight. Let's be honest. He's fighting an undisputed fighter. So he has within the right in today's genre of the way fighters market themselves. Check the way sports market themselves. Everybody's trying to make the most. I don't have a problem with him trying to make the most he can make to get that undisputed fight, because y'all all know Bob Arum is a criminal. And yes, Terence, I'm saying Terence, my bad, Tom Ross. I'll never compare you to Terence Crawford. Tom Ross TV out of his own mouth said these niggas run the Bob. But let's be honest, Bob robs these niggas. So you would think these two niggas in this new genre on how they think, they'd be like, all right, Bob trying to pimp us. Let's be brothers about the situation and let's pimp him and say, you know what? We're going to make the fight happen. Shakur, we already know you're going to get 30% in a loss against Bob Arum. Let's make sure, if I'm Devin Haney, I'm this dude that say that I ain't ducking nobody, because that's what Devin Haney's always said. He's built himself that way. I'm willing to take on every fight. Look, I'm going to give you this 60-40 split. You're not deserving of the 40%, but I want to prove to the world that I can beat your ass. That's what Errol Spence did. Errol Spence had 3 belts to Terence Crawford's 1 belt. There's no way that Terence Crawford deserves the same amount of money for this fight as Errol Spence. Errol Spence has fought all of the top competition. No tune-ups, no nothing. Terence Crawford has fought tomato cans, but yet they're making the same money for this fucking fight. How the fuck did that happen? And on top of that, Terence Crawford is getting back-end money. So if Errol Spence, the face of boxing, can do it, why can't Devin Haney? Usually in boxing, when the face of boxing sets a standard, everybody got to follow the standard. Floyd's standard back then was, I'm going to take whatever I'm going to take to win, to for my roadmap to win, right? But that was the Mayweather era. Right now, we're in the Spence era. The Spence era is, listen, you want to fight the best, concede to their shit, get their ass in the ring, and beat the shit out of them. Devin Haney, you say you want to fight the best, concede, motherfucker.
But here's the caveat. The caveat is there's a dispute to the face.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I feel like after this fight, Errol Spence would definitely be the face. But the recognized face of you gotta understand, most of these niggas go by what the white man say.
Mm-hmm.
The white man say Canelo was the face, right?
Never.
Nah, you're not understanding. I'm saying the white man say Canelo was the face. So to most niggas,
no, I understand what you said. I'm just saying never.
Right. So the most niggas who do nothing but follow up the white man ass, Canelo is the face of boxing.
Mm-hmm.
What's Canelo doing? Canelo is ducking fighters. Canelo is bringing fighters up 2 weight classes. He going up 2 weight classes to fight bums. Canelo was avoiding competition. He's screwing people over when it comes down to the contracts. So you got people who following Canelo's lead too. That's why I say Canelo's horrible for boxing. I'll be glad when he retires. He's in the way of boxing because you got people who can say, well, Canelo do it. And it's not until we're done and we eradicate the Canelos, the Tyson Furies, who else got titles and just be holding them and shit. Lomachenko got eradicated, but it's not until we eradicate those types of people that we're going to be able to move into a more efficient era of boxing, to where people make contracts that make sense, to fighters who supposed to fight make sense, to guys don't get belts and just hold them. Who has Tyson Fury fought since he beat Wilder for that belt? Why isn't boxing putting any pressure on him to fight somebody?
Yep.
Why not? Would they be so comfortable letting somebody hold those belts and not fight nobody? If it was a black fighter? If Deontay Wilder would have won that fight, would not Deontay Wilder have to fight the next guy? Wouldn't they have made all the fights?
Mm-hmm.
But when he got the belt, he could just hold it and not fight nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that's what I'm talking about. Once we eradicate these type of people from boxing, boxing could go to the next level because they're the ones that hold up boxing. Canelo held up 160 for how long? Mm-hmm. And he could have, when they stripped him, he could no longer hold up 160 pounds. He left. Didn't even take an undisputed fight. He didn't even get slack for that. Now he hold up 168 and fighting somebody from 154. And the biggest channels are saying this is a good fight. I don't care how big Charlo could get. Charlo has never fought at 175.
Yep.
He's never fought at 168. There's a difference.
Yep.
And his first fight is going to be against Canelo. It's a difference. That's not a good fight. It sounds
good. That's why he set up to resurrect and resuscitate. Well, I don't even use the resurrect because yes, resurrect belongs to CHIHUAHUA. I always got to be careful with that. This is going to help him to resuscitate his fucking boxing career, right? Because he's the first of 3 fights. Y'all hear me say that in the videos over and over again. I'm hoping it sticks. Canelo signed a 3-fight deal. Melo is the first of the 3-fight deal. Canelo's not making it to 3 fight if Mel beats him. Like, I really want y'all to think about that. That means Mel has to be a chopping block. He has to be set up to lose because everything is in favor of Canelo. So I don't understand why y'all can't see that.
And that's the thing. And
fact because Mel is so gun-ho on always wanting to outshow. This is why I said Mel's a scumbag and he's what we call a douchebag.
He's a Judas.
He's so wired to want to outdo his brother that he went for it immediately. And there is no such thing as undisputed versus undisputed. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. This is some new manufactured shit they made in fucking boxing. My bad, Ross. I was going to put that up. This is some new manufactured shit they made up in boxing. You can't be undisputed versus undisputed in 2 weight classes. First of all, Terence Crawford. I'm saying Terence Crawford. Jamel Charlo has never fought at 168. Canelo has never fought. Canelo has. When was the last time this motherfucker fought at 154? Years ago. So how the heck you undisputed versus undisputed? That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. This is what we call dare to be great, and now they're labeling it something of undisputed versus undisputed. You can't. And only a boxing casual would title their videos as content creators to say that. You would think people are boxing connoisseurs out here, and they would say, no, there's no such fucking thing. Here's the thing. Mel is ducking Tim Shoe, man.
Yeah, he ducked Tim Shoe.
Because he was supposed to fight Tim Shoe. He was supposed to fight Tim Shoe, but he didn't.
Donate to the cash apps, man.
Donate to the cash app, man. You see, I got the banner right there. Donate to our cash app and donate to Tom Ross's Venmo. YouTube has basically blocked my ability to monetize Jaden Anthony. They just hating on me, man. They've been hating on me for a while now. It is what it is.
Now, but people don't understand that people are making caveats when it don't make sense. Jamel shouldn't be able to win Canelo's belts either.
Yep.
This is a fight that should not be happening. Why? There's belts put up, but They're gonna bring their belts to the ring. Do you know Jamel Charles is gonna bring all his belts to the ring as if they're on the line?
Yeah, and they're not.
Yeah. So let me finish this thought. So you got Jamel Charles, undisputed at 154, who never fought at 160, but he's gonna be fighting near 168. You got Canelo, who's been fighting at 175, who haven't fought at 168 in forever, but now his belt's on the line, and they're not going to be fighting either weight class. They're not going to be fighting at one. They need to get rid of the catch weight fights. They're not going to be fighting at 154 or at 168, but belts are on the line.
Doesn't make sense.
How can you put a fight? So you put your belts on the line knowing you can't lose them, really?
Yep.
Because you're fighting somebody who never fought in the weight class, whom you're arguably a better boxer than. But let's be honest. He's not the boxer that Maul is.
No, he's not. Nowhere near.
Against Constantino or Castano. He struggled against Tony Harrison.
Yep.
Canelo lands those flush punches and he's going to sleep. They're not fighting at 168. They fighting at 164 and a quarter or some shit like that.
No, they fighting at 168.
They trying to fight at 168 because people started making a fuss about it, and then Mel said, I'll fight him at 168. I don't care. Yep. So now they might move it to 168. But
Ross is right. Initially, they was trying to do 164 and a quarter, but Canelo wants to be so comfortable to knock this motherfucker out. Canelo was like, nah, let's push this shit to 168, which puts him at 2 weight class disadvantage for Jamel Charlo, because Jamel Charlo never fought at 160, let alone 160. You know what this reminds me of again? This reminds me of Canelo versus Amir Khan. Yeah. Same shit.
But that's good. You want to know that's good? I hope Mel get the shit beat out of him, man.
Man, I hope Mel gets knocked out because I'm tired of him trying to screw his brother over. I'm tired of that shit, man.
The last time you stepped on your brother's toes and got disrespectful, you lost. His mind don't be at the right place. His mind always on his brother. You fucking took an L to Tony Harrison.
Yep.
The second time you damn near lost to Castano.
Yep.
This third time he gonna get knocked the fuck out by Canelo, man.
Exactly.
and I can't wait for it to happen. I hate brothers who are so disloyal to their own people.
And what y'all don't understand is twins have a symbiotic relationship. When you go against twins, the way God created twins, they create them as 2 people as one. So when you shit against your twin, you're shitting against yourself. Man, I think that shit went over a lot of people's heads.
Yeah.
When you shit against your twin, you shit against yourself.
Not even that.
The best thing Mel should have done would have been like when Canelo offered him that knockout to resuscitate Canelo's career, Mel should have been like, oh, okay, I see the okie doke. Fuck you. I'm going to fight my mandatory Tim Shoe. You can go fight somebody else.
You can fight
Benavidez.
Mel
should have done. That's what Mel should have done.
You can fight Benavidez. But people don't realize this ain't just happened. People are saying this happened because Charlo wasn't ready to fight.
Yep.
Jamel been saying this undisputed against undisputed shit since he became undisputed.
Yep.
He's been calling out Charlo. He's been calling out Canelo since Canelo was at 160, knowing that Canelo was Jamal Charlo's mandatory fight. He's been trying to step on his brother's toes. It's not. This don't got nothing to do with Jamal Charlo supposedly not being ready for the fight because he can easily fight Benavidez. He's not fighting against Benavidez. He told Benavidez, I can't come down to 168." He told him that I don't think I can be able to come down to 168, but you can come down to 168 for Jamel Charlo. You told Jamal Charlo I can't come down to 160 because I've been fighting down at 168. That's the reason why he's moving up. It's not daring to be great. Canelo's moving up so he don't have to fight prime black fighters when they're at their best.
Yep.
The only reason why he called up Jamal Charlo right now is because Jamal Charlo is going through something.
Mental health
when Jamal Charlo was in his mandatory, he did not want that fight at 160.
Didn't want it.
He did. He ducked an undisputed fight with Demetrius Andrade. Who does that?
Who does that? And he was on the same network with him with DAZN for years. Could have easily made the Demetrius Andrade fight, but he didn't make the shit.
Who does that? We don't hold these non-black fighters to the same level that we hold black fighters.
And the thing about it is you got to pay attention to people's body language and actions. Don't pay attention to their words. Look at the negotiation of the fight. It was supposedly supposed to be Jamal Charlo versus Canelo, but Canelo's chopping at the bits because it's Jamel Charlo. Y'all don't see that shit for what it is. I don't care if y'all want to sit here and say, well, Jamal's not ready for the fight. Okay, Jamal's not ready for the fight. But Jamel Charlo, having the history of knowing that Jamal's called out Canelo for 10 years, a decade. Jamal Charlo first called out Canelo since 2013. We are in 2023, folks. You know that's your brother's lane. You don't go into your brother's lane. That's like fucking your brother's woman. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Tom Ross brought up something in the last live that told me that this is why Jamel's a scumbag.
Donate to motivate. He knows. Donate to motivate.
Donate to fucking motivate. Tom Ross told me something in the last live that told me why Jamel Charlo is a douchebag or a scumbag. Because guess what? Jamel Charlo was even trying to get at Jamal Charlo's woman that he has issues with now, that he's had kids with. This is why they've had the falling out. So Mel has proven from a personal level, he's always trying to take Maul's shit. That's why I don't respect Jamel Charlo, man. And see, a lot of niggas that are now coming out of their mouths and saying, man, Jamel's better than Jamal. I see the type of niggas you are. That's how you operate in your life. A lot of niggas are saying, man, Jamel Charlo's more talented than Jamal. When we know the evidence proves that if you put Jamal Charlo and Jamel Charlo in the ring, let's be honest, Big Charlo's going to knock out Small Charlo.
He's going to knock him out.
Let's fucking be honest here. So let's not sit here and act like Jamel Charlo is better than Jamal Charlo. We know the levels. There's 3 niggas in Texas, and the weakest fucking link is Jamel Charlo, because Jamel Charlo has lost. Errol the Truth Spence is undefeated. Jamal Charlo's undefeated, and there's a reason why they are undefeated. It's because they are special at what they do. Mel's not undefeated because Mel's a hothead. Mel does not listen to the coach, and Mel is reckless in the ring. This is why his record is the way it is, a fucking draw and a loss. So let's fucking be honest here.
Here's the thing. The reason why it looks like Mel got so much heart is because we kind of attribute hurt to people who go through adversity.
Yep.
And we don't never sit down and digest why they went through adversity. A lot of people think Floyd don't have heart because you've barely seen Floyd in adversity. You better see Floyd in adversity because Floyd is a great boxer. He hardly get in those type of those situations. It don't mean he got less heart than anybody else who's always in fights and always getting beat up and shit and need a rocky performance to win. It means Floyd's a superior fighter. So you have to really look at the things and be like, oh, well, Floyd took this fight against somebody who's 20 pounds heavier than him. That's heart. You can't really tell by the performance because he makes everybody look the same. Mel doesn't have more heart than Errol Spence or Jamal Charlo.
Nope.
Mel's just a sloppier fighter.
He's way more sloppier.
That's all that is.
He's the weakest link, and Canelo knows that. If you look at it, think about it. All 3 guys, Canelo's been in talks for all 3 of those guys. Canelo's never been gun-ho to be jumping in the ring with Errol Spence because he knows Errol Spence is going to punish him. It's going to be like Floyd, but more brutal. You know he's not gun-ho to fight Jamal Charlo because he knows Jamal Charlo actually has the power to drop him. That is the first fight where you will see Canelo gets knocked out. And Jamal Charlo hits you with punches you don't even see coming. He throws uppercuts you don't see coming. He throws jabs that you don't see coming. He throws power right hands. Man, if you are a true boxing connoisseur and you really do film study, you will marvel at how great of a boxer that Jamal Charlo is. You want to know what fight proves how great and dominant Jamal Charlo is? Go look at the fight that Canelo and Triple G ducked.
Right.
And we have reference. Triple G had a performance against Sergey Derevchenko. Go look at Jamal Charlo's performance against that dude. Jamal Charlo was punishing this guy. I was hoping that they would just throw the fucking towel in. Jamal Charlo and Jamel Charlo are night and day. I don't know if y'all just prisoners of the moment or y'all just going off of the fact that Jamel won undisputed at 154. Jamel Charlo is nowhere near the boxer that Jamal Charlo is. He would wish that he was Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo had a adverse fight against Matt Corbo. This is how you could tell who mentally who's the same, who's different. They both mentally went through warfare that night against Tony Harrison and Matt Corbo. Jamal Charlo fought an opponent that he didn't even have time to prepare for. They both had adverse fights. What happened? Jamal Charlo pulled out the victory. Jamel Charlo got exposed by Tony Harrison. Am I sitting here in line? It was the same fucking night.
It don't even matter Jamal Charlo issues don't matter because majority of boxers, believe it or not, they self-medicate with alcohol. Majority of them, very few of them live a totally clean life. Because a lot of them don't want to go on prescription meds, and a lot of them have lingering problems with their body they're going to have for the rest of their life. And they self-medicate. They self-medicate mentally when they take big losses. Why do you think Adrian Broner's always drunk? He's dealing with the heartbreak of those big losses. A lot of boxers
Canelo be drinking every weekend. Thank you.
A lot of boxers abuse alcohol. It's not right. They had to minimize that, but it happens. That's not a big deal. The problem ain't what Jamal's going through. The problem is, as Jamal's brother, you should have said, Benavidez, go ahead, man.
Yep. Well said.
If he knows, if let's say I've been knowing him over the internet for these, let's say we lived in the same area, and he spits with someone someone he's been wanting for a long time. I find out want me, and he acts like he don't really care, but I know he cares. Because men do that. I don't really care, bro. You can fuck her. But you know they care about how they've been talking about this broad.
Yep.
I'm going to let the next man fuck her. Because it's not that important.
Vice versa.
When you care about somebody, then you make the sacrifices to show you care. All family members don't care about each other, and they prove it by the way they act. When somebody could improve their life on your back and don't give a fuck and wipe their feet on your back like a doormat, they don't care about you, whether they family or not. They do not care. Benavidez is supposed to be Canelo's supposed to have been forced to fight Benavidez.
Out the gate.
But he's not, because Jamel Charlo's in the way. And now we can't get a fight that should be happening. Boxing really wants to see Charlo Canelo, Charlo Andre, or Charlo Benavidez. We don't want to see Jamel Charlo. And, and that's the reason why they did a psychological trick. They did a bit. They did a switch. They did a bait and switch. They announced the fight. Jamal Charlo versus Canelo. And then Canelo, a week and a half later, said Jamel Charlo versus Canelo, undisputed versus undisputed. So everybody got hyped up to see one twin. And now it's kind of like you're seeing the same person, but you're not. Because they're the same people with two different spirits. So then
they was trying to see what you fans were going to do.
And then they switched in the bait and switch and said Jamel. So now we're not getting that, but you feel like you could accept this because you're it's parody. You're thinking it's the same when it's not. So it made it easier to accept. If they would announce that fight first, no one would accept it. Because they'll be like, here goes Canelo again.
Doing that same dumb shit.
But they did it in a bait and switch way so that you could accept the fight you're not supposed to be accepted.
And this is how you could tell if boxing fans was really about it. Boxing fans would have saw that. If they was really about boxing and been like, we boycotting that shit. If y'all universally would have done that, then guess what? They would have said, okay, this ain't going to do numbers. This fight ain't going to make sense. And they would have pulled it. Just like when Canelo tried to fight that Makabu guy. Y'all did it then. Y'all did it right. Y'all basically said, nah, we ain't watching that shit. Right. We boycotting it. And Canelo had to go back to the drawing board. That's what y'all should have done. Because there's no scenario where a guy that's 154 pounds should be going up 2 weight classes to fight a guy at 168 because he wants to conveniently duck a PBC fighter that is at 168 and Benavidez that he can very well fight. Okay, Jamal Charlo's not ready. Benavidez.
Here's the problem. Everybody people who focus on Jamal in this situation are people who don't want to face the truth. This ain't about Jamal. This is about what Jamelo did, what Jamel did, and what Canelo did. Whether Jamal want to fight or not, if Jamal is not available, who should Canelo be fighting?
Benavidez.
Should it not be Benavidez?
Yep.
Should it not be Andre? At least somebody who fought at 160?
Yep.
Why is it somebody coming from 154? Why has Canelo been calling out Errol Spence every year for the last 8 years? Yep. But he had all these guys to fight. Why he been calling out Errol Spence? Why has Canelo been calling out Floyd Mayweather, who's been retired?
Yep.
Right now, Canelo will drop all these fights if Floyd Mayweather said, I'm willing to move up to 160 to fight you. Canelo will come all the way down to 160, a weight class he said he would not fight at to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr. He's all cap. This is all cap. Jermell Charlo, I'm daring to be great. It's all cap. This shit ain't about being great. This shit just about him being better than his brother and taking things off his brother's plate. This is what this is about. This is called sibling rivalry gone wrong, man. There's a psychological issue with Jermell Charlo where he don't want to see his brother have shit. Because truth be told, he don't like being the twin. Anytime they start saying anything about Jamal, watch how Jamal will act in the interview. He always starts tearing down his brother.
Yep.
Like he's somebody else, like he's not even related to him.
Or talk over him. I remember I was watching I Am Athlete. They did a lot of mini series on it. I just haven't put up the shorts yet because I just been so caught up in giving y'all what y'all wanted, my face behind the Spence and Crawford videos, and that's probably been my primary thing. Since y'all showing me love with that, continue to show love with the views, man, with that. Since I'm on this shadow band, y'all continue to do that, I'm gonna continue to give you that heat and that fire with the Spence and the Crawford series. But the bottom line is they asked both Maul and Mel how much money would it cost to fight each other. You know, Mel said, I'll fight my brother for 500 million. And Maul said, no, I'll fight you for even less. And Mel got offended. He said, nah, just give me 100 million and then I'll knock you out. He said this straight up. He said, no, I'll knock you out. And then you could look at the face on, you could see Mel's reaction. Mel was like, oh shit.
You just reacted like that because he knew that was the truth.
Yeah, he knew it was the truth. He knew it was the truth that Maul could knock his ass out. Maul's the bigger Charlo, man. There's a reason. There's a reason why Mel could. You know, there's a saying called the loudest person in the room is usually the most insecure. Mel embodies that terminology to the highest levels. You would think him being in the Derrick James camp, he would learn a thing or two, right? You would think that he would learn that when it's all said and done, the ideology, the mindset would be to mimic what he's learning. But Mel has a fundamental problem. People thought it was Ronnie Shields. It wasn't Ronnie Shields. Maul's been under Ronnie Shields all these years, and Maul's been undefeated. You could see that the problem is Mel. Because Mel left Ronnie Shields, he went to Derrick James. You thinking Derrick James gonna correct the situation. He goes and fuck around and lose to Tony Harrison under who? Derrick James. He turned around and have a controversy fight against Castano under who? Derrick James. So really, is it the trainer? No, it's the fighter.
It's him. But here's another thing people are missing. People, I believe low-key, a lot of people, they can't override their emotions with pure logic. Here's the logic behind this shit. It don't matter what Maul's saying about this fight. It doesn't matter. Integrity is integrity. It don't matter if your friends say, you can fuck my ex, or you can fuck somebody I like. Do he really mean that? Or is he trying to be, or is he trying to have bravado and trying to say what he thinks you want to hear? No man wants his friend fucking their ex. No man wants his friend fucking a girl he just like.
Yep.
If you know that. But we in our ego say things because we think, man, if I don't say this, that means I'm hating on my brother. If I don't say this, that means I ain't no real nigga. But at the end of the day, no matter what Jermell Charlo said, Jermell Charlo should not be taking this fight.
Shouldn't be taking it.
Period.
Because it's career suicide for Jermell. Because look, you went through all this adversity, right? To get undisputed at 154. The smart play, Jermell, was to see Canelo is using a Mayweather. And let me use, and when I say this, you'll understand.
Mayweather would have never done no shit like this.
No. Listen to what I'm saying here. Listen to what I'm saying here. Canelo is using a Mayweather mind trick on Jermell Charlo. And when I say Mayweather mind trick, I'm not talking about the ducking part. I'm talking about, I'm going to put you in a position where I'm going to see where your head is at and see if you fall for the fucking bait. Mayweather has done this before in fights, not in terms of basically trying to cherry pick or anything like that. Mayweather has mentally fucked with fighters just to see where fighters' mental is at. You know what I'm saying?
This is more a Sugar Ray tactic. But Sugar Ray used to do this with fighters. He's basically trying to get them at their worst.
No, I'm not talking about Mayweather's trying to get a fighter at their worst. I'm talking about the mental manipulation of mentally manipulating a fighter to where the fighter is put in a position to where the fighter has no choice but to fall under these terms and stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. Not the fight itself or anything like that. I'm just talking about the terms.
Yeah, I reason why I say Sugar Ray because I feel like it's a better comparison because Sugar Ray actually did it in negotiations, not necessarily in the ring. In the ring, Sugar Ray he rarely adapted to anybody like Floyd. So, but outside the ring, Sugar Ray would try to get you at your worst. Like you know what I mean? Like Duran, whenever you at your worst, he'll try to make the fight. Hagler, he told Hagler they was gonna make. He kept playing with Hagler. Then he made the fight when Hagler was finna get ready to retire. So I say Sugar Ray and Canelo, they pretty much do the same things when it comes to fighting. Try to fight for worse. Because look at Canelo. He told Bivol, "I'm not coming down to 168 to fight no more," but now he's fighting Jermell Charlo at 168. Now he's fighting Jermell Charlo. He just told Bivol, "I'm gonna fight you at 168." He ain't want to put his belts up against Bivol, but he'll put his belts up against Charlo. He knows Charlo can't beat him, man. He knows that.
And here's the thing. I may have misspoke on that one, and you're probably right about that. No. But let me clarify. That might be the better example with Sugar Ray. I was looking at it more from like when Floyd wants to financially put you in a position where he's going to negotiate the fight on these terms. There's no way around it for the fighter. This is what you're going to get because I'm Mayweather. I'm giving you the opportunity, and this is what you have to accept. That's the part of what I was trying to say that Canelo has basically taken, but Canelo has taken it and made it in a way to where it's not even just about money. He's made it to where it can put him in a position to where he can fight the weakest link. Floyd does not fight the weakest link. Right. Floyd always takes on the hardest competition. But what I'm saying is he took that style of negotiation and just put a style that's conducive to his weakness. That's what I meant when I said that. But the Sugar Ray makes more sense because Sugar Ray has duck fighters, so that actually is more in line. So we'll go with the Sugar Ray.
Right. And
Canelo Alvarez has basically used a Sugar Ray example against Jermell Charlo. And when there's something when there's a point that somebody makes that's more powerful or more impactful or makes more sense than what I do, I don't have a problem with saying, hey, your point was more valid than my point. See, that's again men and men. This is how men operate with each other. So he made a more impactful point when he used the Sugar Ray Leonard. The point is Canelo used the Sugar Ray Leonard blueprint. Y'all use the reference with Marvin Hagler. That's a great example. When he ducked Marvin Hagler, he tried to box Marvin Hagler into a situation. That's what Canelo's doing with Jermell Charlo. And what you boxing fans are not allowing your minds to see is that, okay, this has been put in front of us, but no, we love Jermell Charlo so much. And then I call it fake love because I remember when the Charlos wasn't in these positions, when Jermell Charlo wasn't undisputed. I remember all the criticisms I was giving Jermell Charlo. So all of a sudden, y'all love Jermell Charlo now? This is weird to me. Y'all act like I wasn't around for all of this shit. I remember I was showing the Charlo brothers all the love, even when they was even in these positions, even when they were their most adverse. I remember me and Ross were the only one saying uplift the Charlos and shit like that. So all this fake love with Jermell, I don't even understand it. But anyways, Mel's in the position that he's in. You would think the smart play would be, you know what? I've had to go through all of this adversity. I've had to go through a loss, then win back. I had to go through a controversy, then run it back. Fuck this shit. I'm going to let this guy, Canelo Alvarez, manipulate me and make me lose myself. Because guess what? Even though he doesn't lose his belts at 154, a loss against Canelo Alvarez stains him. It stains him. And then let alone it's a knockout loss, that shit stains him. So you would think Mel would be smart enough to say, you know what, fuck you, Canelo. I see the game you're trying to play. Let me just fight my mandatory Tim Shoe, and let me just eventually move up to 160 after that. That would have been the smart play for Jermell Charlo. But Jermell Charlo is such a scumbag. He's such a douchebag, and he's such a slick type of dude that he has to always have the attention on him that let me take the fight. See, Errol Spence, you could see the difference between the morality between Errol Spence and Jermell Charlo. Errol Spence, you don't think Errol Spence was positioned? Let's be honest. Errol Spence is more popular than even the Charlo brothers. You don't think Canelo has propositioned Errol Spence how many times? Probably numerous.
No, it's been public.
He never fell for the bait. He never fell for the bait.
It's been public. He's been calling them out for years. It's been public.
And Errol Spence never fell for the bait. Why did Jamel Charlo fall for the bait? This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all gotta see this shit for what it is. Jamel Charlo falls for the bait because Canelo realizes that Canelo is not dumb. This is how Canelo wins a lot of these fights. He's done his homework on these fighters. He knows that Jamel Charlo's a hothead, and he knows that Jamel Charlo always wants all the attention on him. So if that is the case, okay, let me fight this guy. Let me knock him out. And let me resuscitate my career off of him. And here's how he's resuscitating his career. Because he knows as long as he has that last name, Charlo, I beat a Charlo. You see the slickness? I beat a Charlo.
Right.
Then now it's going to give his fans the vitality to say, man, he knocked out a Charlo. You see the Charlo brothers ain't shit. That's what they're going to run with. And y'all too stupid to realize what the fuck is going on.
Right. Because people don't understand this. Well, a lot of black people don't understand this. A lot of non-black people don't care the quality of the fight. They just want to see a non-black person beat up a black person.
Yep.
Y'all understand just how racist the country is you live in. They just want to see a non-black person beat up a black person. You ever seen those fight back when YouTube first started and all the fighting videos used to be on YouTube? The ones who got the most views used to be the one with the big white boy just beating up on the helpless black dude.
Mm-hmm.
Because they secretly get off on seeing a black man take a loss. They don't care if the odds are stacked against them. They don't care if the fight don't make sense.
Yep.
So when you go along with it, you making it easy for these people to get what they want.
Exactly.
When if he's gonna beat somebody, he should beat up on his own people. He should beat up on Benavidez there. Fight Benavidez or call up Virgil Ortiz and make him fight at 168. You beat him up.
Yep.
This is not a good fight for boxing, man. And people who think it is because you guys don't understand what you're watching.
Yep.
Everybody gives Maidana so much credit for being Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner came up 2 weight classes to fight him. He was
so really was it impressive like that?
Maidana was supposed to win. And the fact that Adrian Broner finished that fight on his feet, backing Maidana down,
that means Maidana's overrated.
But this goes to show you something. They got a whole video that got 3 million views celebrating the fact that Maidana brought up somebody 2 weight classes to beat him. That's all the fuck they care about is seeing a black man lose. And y'all helping with these narratives. And y'all helping with these narratives when y'all promote these fights and you get behind
y'all black people as slaves are helping the shit. Thank you, Ross, for saying that. That's the problem that I have. Y'all fell for the key and y'all helping this shit.
When y'all get behind these fights that don't make sense. Fights should make sense. 2 names don't make sense just because they're 2 names. It don't make sense because they're 2 names. A name makes sense when there are 2 names in the same weight class and we don't know who's the better fighter. That's when it makes sense. Canelo going all the way up to fight Demetrius Bivol didn't make no sense. Rocky Fielding didn't make sense. That's why we didn't care, man. Believe it or not, Carlos Smith and Billy Joe Saunders didn't make sense.
Yep.
Why are you fighting them? You didn't fight Charlo yet. You didn't fight Andre yet. You didn't fight Why are you fighting these guys? Why are you trying to fight Makubu? He sound like a Lion King character. Why are you fighting him? and y'all get behind these fights. You don't put up enough. You don't put up enough restraint, enough resistance against these fights. This fight, even though it's a PBC fight, Al Heyman's going to do just right. Whatever the boxers want to do, he's going to make it happen. But
he's a businessman, so he's like, okay, the fans want to be that stupid. We still going to make the money. Go ahead. Let's make the fight happen.
But this is a fight I say should be boycotted.
Yes.
That way, he will say, you know what? We're not doing that no more.
Yeah.
We ain't doing that shit no more. Y'all got to fight the people, and y'all weight classes going from now on.
Yeah.
No more moving up two weight classes to fight somebody. I don't give a fuck how big you get to when you rehydrate. If you never fought at that weight class, you are at a disadvantage.
Yep.
If you're not that sharp of a boxer going up against Canelo, you at a disadvantage. Reason why Bivol made it so easy, because Bivol is by far a superior boxer than Canelo. He didn't even use his weight advantage. He just outboxed him.
Yep.
Can we say Jamel Charlo's a superior boxer than Canelo? What has he proven to say he's a superior boxer over Canelo?
He has not been able to stop guys. Listen to this. He's had problems against guys that are smaller than Canelo. Tony Harrison don't have the punch resistance that Canelo has. Fucking Brian Castano was pushing Jermell Charlo back. I'm one of the biggest staunch criticizers of Canelo Alvarez, but let's be honest, man. If Brian Castano is showcasing ring generalship against Jermell Charlo and he's able to push him back, will you mean to tell me Canelo being that much more powerful than Brian Castano, he can't drop Jermell Charlo? Like, come on, let's call a spade here. And Canelo is very good at working the body. You mean to tell me a guy who's technically has fought at 175, 168, and 160 for how many years? He lands a body shot on a guy that's never been at 160 or 168. Weight classes for a reason. He's not going to drop Jermell Charlo. Come on, man. This is common fucking sense. All Canelo got to do is hit Jermell Charlo with power bomb shots. Jermell Charlo will fall. Because he's the smaller guy, man. He's going to fall. And Canelo knows this. This is why Canelo perfectly picked that fight. Because he knows he's going to dismantle Jermell Charlo. He's just going to go in there, eat up Jermell Charlo's punches, and then hit him with something that's going to make Jermell Charlo fall. We know Canelo has been hit by guys that are way more powerful than Jermell Charlo. And this is not even a race thing. This is just power. Triple G is a guy, you can't teach power. Triple G is a guy who has power. And I've seen him hit Canelo flush and still didn't drop Canelo. Canelo knows this. That's why Canelo's so confident to fight Jermell Charlo, because he's like, any punch you throw at me, I've already have been hit by punches that are harder. Nobody can tell me that Jermell Charlo punched harder than fucking Miguel Cotto. Nobody can tell me that.
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me that Jermell Charlo is going to knock out Canelo Alvarez? Good luck with that. And it's a 3-fight deal. And Jermell Charlo is the first of the 3 fight. And listen to this. All the stipulations is in Canelo's favor. We're going to sit here. We're going to throw away that Canelo's been in controversies. We're going to throw away that Canelo has boxing judges in his pockets. We're going to throw away that Canelo has won fights. Even when he fought Floyd Money Mayweather, one of the fight cards, this is Mayweather now. One of the fight cards was a draw against Mayweather. They were trying to rob Mayweather. In
a fight where Mayweather won every round.
Where he won every round. So you mean to tell me Mel is gonna okay?
Listen, man.
Keep sipping that fucking tea.
I think the problem is people can't get past the fighters to understand the inner workings of boxing. You could lose a fight on the scales against somebody you better than. Easy. If somebody's been fighting at 175, at 168, and you never, even if you can rehydrate to 168, you never had a fight at 168. This is your first fight at 168. This man been fighting against light heavyweight fighters on a regular. And you've been dropped by people at your weight class. Let alone guys at 168. Let alone guys that fought at 175. You've been dropped by guys at your weight class. Not even because they hit so hard, but because you have a momentary lack of judgment and a momentary lack of discipline. All it's going to take is one punch.
Canelo knows that.
Here's the problem. Amir Khan was winning the fight before he got dropped by Canelo. It only took
Canelo knows that, and he was washing Canelo the whole time. And Canelo was like, man, I'm going to eat your fuck. And that's what Canelo did. He ate his fucking... Canelo dared to even put his hands down and said, all I got to do is land on this motherfucker. And that's what happened. He landed on him. He hit him with a few power shots. And what happened?
Kell Brook was winning the fight against Triple G.
Yep.
It was looking easy.
Washing him.
Until he finally landed flush.
Until he hit him with that power.
He wasn't used to getting hit like that.
Because you can't teach power. Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody got a game plan until they get hit in the fucking face, man.
And punch resistance too.
Yes. When this nigga get hit in the face against Canelo, I'm telling y'all, he's gonna realize why the fuck it's gonna come. It's gonna be like a shock to him. Why did I even take this stupid fucking fight in the first place? Because my damn hatred, because of my jealousy, because I'm just always got to put myself out there and I got to be the star in front of my brother. I took this fight, and he's gonna learn. Every
stopped,
time he tried to outshow his brother, he paid. He tried to do that shit against Tony Harrison, lost.
But here's
tried
the
to
thing.
do that shit against Castano, a fucking draw, and then he had to run it back. Now, the third time you try to show your brother, you're gonna get knocked out.
But
it's very simple.
People talking about this fight is legit because that now people can't say Canelo was ducking the Charlos. Canelo was never ducking the Charlos.
Never.
He only ducking one.
Only one. Jamal.
One been at 154.
Yes.
Only one of these Charlos was his mandatory, and that was Jamal. He ain't been ducking the Charlos. The Charlos are not the same people.
They're not.
They're separate entities.
There's Jamal and there's Jamel.
And here's the thing. This is what Mexican people sitting back and waiting for. They know he can't beat Maul, but when he beats Mel, they're gonna say, well, he don't gotta fight Maul because he beat the better Charlo.
Exactly. And niggas are falling for the dumb fucking tea. Because all Canelo gotta do is have a Charlo under his body. And niggas are falling for this shit. They ain't realizing they falling for the dumb shit. That's what Canelo did. He pulled the wool over your eyes. And then guess what? Now that he fights Jamal Charlo is completely out of it. And y'all did that shit. That was y'all undoing. The smart thing Mel should have said is, okay, Canelo, I see this trick you trying to pull. Fuck you. I'm going to fight my mandatory Tim Shue. You go fight David Benavidez. He should have routed him to David Benavidez. But no, he's so fucking dumb to not realize that Canelo's using him to basically catch a body from the Charlos and then be able to further duck Jamal Charlo. He's never going to fight Jamal Charlo after that.
You got to think about it. Just think about this in layman's terms. Everybody making this shit bigger than what it is, right? Somebody, they don't have to fight exactly like the person fights who gave you problems. They don't have to be the same fighter.
Yep.
The problem is you got hurt by that guy who hits significantly less. It has significantly less power than the guy you finna fight. Who has been hit by guys who hit way harder than you? Who could literally walk through your punches?
Yep.
Canelo could literally walk through Jamal
Charlo's punches, man. This is stuff people. It don't matter how much of an expert you are from a boxing standpoint. You know this is true. If you've been in the ring, you know this.
He ain't gonna fight Jamal because if he was gonna fight,
he
would have fought him at 160.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Vegas. He's not gonna fight Jamal. Once he fights Jamel Charlo, he's gonna find a way to weasel his way, and his fans are gonna help him. They're gonna say, "Man, he beat one of the Charlos already, man. So he don't have to fight Jamal. Beating one is like beating both." You gotta understand how Canelo operates. I think y'all forget how Canelo moves. Beating one is like beating the other. So he doesn't have to fight Jamal. And then this is what's gonna happen. Now they're gonna say, well, Benavidez is gonna have to fight this dude. See, you see how y'all fuck shit up? When all y'all could have done is said, no, fuck you, Canelo. You should have fought Benavidez. See,
man,
y'all be fucking shit up, man.
Hold on, let me say, man, I ain't never say no dumb shit like that. I ain't never say you can't dunk nobody that's not your mandatory, and you can't dunk nobody that's not in your weight class.
Yep.
A duck is let me give y'all an example of what a duck is, because y'all don't know and shit. A duck is when Canelo versus Andre for undisputed, that was a duck. Canelo vacating, getting stripped of the WBC middleweight crown because he didn't want to fight Canelo. That was a duck. Lomachenko not fighting Haney. Haney becoming the champion because Lomachenko didn't want to fight Haney. That was a duck. These are ducks. Shane Mosley, the first time he was supposed to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr., all of a sudden coming up with excuses why he can't fight Floyd and coming back years later to fight. That was a duck. You can't duck somebody just because other people want to see you fight them. It has to make sense. It got to be a mandatory fight. These aren't ducks. Charlo and Jamel and Canelo was never shooting at the same baskets. Canelo just drafted him into a league. This is like getting drafted. This is like going from junior. This is like going from 8th grade to varsity because a nigga just want to play against you, and you have not proven you should be at that level.
Exactly.
You ain't proven you should be at all because you undisputed at 154. Don't mean you should be fighting at 168 undisputed. What you do at 168 to deserve a 168 title?
Exactly.
Once you do that.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing too. I want to say this. Ox is right when he says Canelo's endurance is trash and his defense is overrated. Me, you, and Ross been saying that for years. We know that to be true. But let's be honest.
Mayweather Jr., his defense is underrated.
But let's be honest here. When Canelo struggled with Ryder, let's be honest. Did Canelo really take that fight seriously? He fought a tune-up in Guadalajara in a fight he knew he was gonna win. I bet you he didn't even train. I bet you he was drinking every fucking weekend before that fight even happened. Let's be honest, man. He's fighting a tune-up guy that he knows he's gonna win. Certain fighters, see, Floyd has created this aura because only Floyd is like that, where he's disciplined for every fight. Most fighters, I've seen this even with Errol Spence. Most fighters, when they know they're fighting a fighter that they know they can dominate, they don't train the same, man. Let's just keep it above.
Here's something else to say. See, this comes down to PBC versus everybody else. Well, when people don't realize this, Canelo is now a PBC fighter.
Yep.
This ain't Canelo gonna wipe the boys at PBC. Canelo is PBC.
Yep.
He's signed to Al Heyman right now. And that's the thing. They don't care who he fight at PBC, long as he fights somebody he can win. So they can say he wiped somebody at PBC. But Canelo is part of PBC.
Yep.
He's been part. He left Golden Boy. He signed to PBC right now for 3 fights. He's a PBC fighter. So it's not a Canelo versus PBC. You see how personal this shit is?
It's personal.
You gotta break it down. It's so personal to where niggas are saying I said something I didn't even say. Because this people don't understand that psychology. When they can't fuck with your logic, it's called a straw man argument. They will make an argument you're not making to argue against themselves.
Facts.
And attach your name to it. Because if women do this shit all the time.
Yep.
You ever been arguing with your girl and she starts changing the argument to something else that may be true, but y'all not talking about that?
Yep.
And she starts trying to tie that into what y'all are currently talking about.
Yep.
That's what feminine gay men do. That's what emasculated men do. They see they're up against a alpha, somebody who they can't really fuck with logically. So now they start saying, "Well, you said is making shit up so they can have people." And then you have the other feminine men running behind it. Oh, did he really say that? Did you hear me say that?
Yep.
If you didn't hear me say that, then why are you asking questions?
And this is where you double down on what the fuck you just said.
Right. What's been said on this platform is this: that Canelo is a coward. He's a duck. But Canelo being a coward and a duck is significantly more smarter than Jamel Charlo is. And Jamel Charlo is he lacks integrity. He's a very disloyal person. Because if he was loyal, he would let this fight go to Benavidez. Yep. He has no need for this fight at this point.
None.
He's just doing this so his brother can't get the fight.
Yes.
He's just doing this because this is something his brother wanted. Jamel Charlo is only concerned with being better or being talked about more than his brother. He could care less.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He could care fucking less about his brother. He could care less about even actually winning this fight. He know he can't win this fight. Jamel Charlo don't got what it takes to win this fight. He ain't Errol Spence. He can't move up, and he's not skilled enough to move up and just beat Canelo. Like, he gonna get stopped in this fight. He's gonna be looking good. He's gonna get caught, and it's gonna be over with.
It's over, done and over.
He's gonna be looking good. I give him. He's gonna be looking good for like 6 or 7 rounds.
Yeah,
and he's gonna get caught.
I might even because Canelo's endurance and his stamina is trash and his defense is trash. I might give Jamel, just to make it entertaining, I might give him 8 or 9. He gonna look good, and then Canelo is just gonna say, "Okay, this nigga slowing down," and hit him with power bombs, man. And then next thing you know, you're gonna see Jamel Charlo just get dropped. He's gonna hit him with 2, because Canelo hits you with flash punches.
Yeah, niggas.
He's gonna hit him with 2 quick body shots, boom, 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 and then hit him upstairs, boom, and then that's it, knock him out.
The problem is, if I said shit that y'all agree with, I would be so far behind the curve. I'm trying to say shit y'all don't agree with. Y'all ass don't know shit about boxing with me to be saying shit that y'all agree with, man.
Exactly.
If I start saying shit you agree with, I will be behind the curve. I'll be thinking this is a real fight.
Yep.
When
you accept Jamel Charlo versus Canelo Alvarez, you accept the status quo that Canelo could continue to move the way he wants to move and it's okay. It's acceptable. If you really if your head is really on the swivel and you really thinking this shit through, this is a Canelo power play once again to resuscitate his career. And he's using it off of the greedy scumbag, douchebag Jermell Charlo. This is very obvious. It's very easy to read. And Canelo knows this. So Canelo's like, man, if I get a chance to, first of all, I got dominated by Bivol. I had a trash performance against John Ryder. And now I get a chance to really put my name back out there again and resuscitate my career and do it off of the last name of a Charlo. Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Here's another thing.
Let's fucking do it.
They're comparing Canelo's performances against superior fighters that are far more superior than Jermell Charlo against what he might do with Charlo.
Exactly.
So he doesn't throw enough. He don't fight enough, and they're going back to when he was struggling with Plant in the beginning. Plant is a superior boxer than Canelo.
Yep.
When he was struggling, when he lost against Bivol, these guys aren't Jermell Charlo. These guys are more defensively responsible than Jermell Charlo. He don't have to fight that way against Jermell. He can actually go to war with Jermell.
He gonna keep his chin open for Jermell. He gonna dare Jermell to try to knock him out.
He can actually go to war with Canelo Charlo. And his punches gonna accumulate more damage.
Because one intel we have with Canelo is Canelo has been hit by guys that are way more powerful than Jermell, and I haven't seen his knees buckle. I just seen him eat the fucking punch. That's why I'm like, Mel, you know
nigga got a block head.
You know this, man. You know Canelo is eating fucking punches from guys that are really heavy-handed. So what is I don't care that Jermell's a viper. I don't care that he strikes fast. He's gonna have to fight a perfect fight for 12 rounds. And let's be honest, in every fight, I've even seen this in Floyd's fight. Floyd will get caught one or twice. He won't get caught like definitive, but he'll get caught with a grace. But he get caught. Every fighter gets a punch.
Right.
So
in boxing,
all I gotta do is hit your ass.
Yeah, in boxing, you're gonna get punched.
You're gonna get punched. So Canelo knows this. All I gotta do is power up, load up, do a weight distribution on one of these fucking punches and catch this motherfucker slipping. I'm telling you, you gonna see Canelo Charlo. Don't be surprised if his mouth guard gets spit out. Canelo gonna hit this motherfucker with a power punch and might fuck around and damage some shit on the inside of this motherfucker. And Mel don't even realize what Canelo's gonna do to him. Canelo gonna fuck around and hit this motherfucker with a heavy ass punch that's gonna make Jermell Charlo buckle. I'm actually afraid for Jermell Charlo, and I'm really afraid for him physically because he's fighting a guy that can hit him with a power that he's not accustomed to, and I don't know how he's gonna be able to handle that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know.
This is what people are not understanding. People are missing the fact that Charlo is only taking this fight because Tim Tszyu is the mandatory, man.
Yep.
And they hate on his brother. He don't think he can beat Tim Tszyu.
So if
he's gonna lose, in his mind, he might as well lose for the most money.
Yep.
And he might as well lose against somebody where he has a built-in caveat for why he lost. Because I dare to be great. But he don't realize that he's not Mexican. Mexican people take that and be cool with it. He dare to be great. It's okay. Black fighters hold that against you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Black fighters hold that against question of sexuality and intelligence. Black fighters hold that shit against you when you move up, daring to be great when you don't have to, and you take an L. You know what I'm saying? And at any rate, if I question somebody's intelligence in boxing, that's how I feel. It's not necessarily your actual intelligence as a person, and what your boxing intelligence. Those are entirely two different things. And at the end of the day, it's just shit talk. I had people come over here and say I'm ugly. I had people come over here and say I sound retarded. I don't give a fuck about what they got to say.
And I had people call me Urkel. I had people say I'm Four Eyes or I'm from Alaska and all that. I don't take that shit personal.
Nobody should care about what I'm saying that much the way they take it in person. But at the end of the day, if people think this is a fair fight, I do question your boxing intelligence if you think this is a fair fight. If you think this is it a duck on both sides, I do question it, but it has nothing to do with anybody manhood or whatever. If a motherfucker has a feminine disposition, I do question their masculinity. I do that in real life. I got family members who masculinity.
I do that shit all the time too.
Yeah, I do question their masculinity, but who gives a fuck? I'm just somebody on a computer talking. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I just don't think this is a good fight for boxing. I stand on that. I don't think Canelo taking this fight in good faith, because why is there so many stipulations? I think Canelo's ducking Benavidez. I stand on that. I think if Jamal Charlo was available, he would not be fighting Jamal Charlo.
He wouldn't be fighting Jamal, man. Let's be honest. He would find a way to duck that fight.
He wouldn't be fighting Jamal Charlo.
Too dangerous.
He'll be fighting another Eastern European fighter in the UK.
And let's be honest, we have history behind what we say. It's like I'm just going off of history. Again, I could be wrong. And it's okay. If I'm wrong about it, I'll flat out say it, man, I was wrong. But here's the thing. History tells us when Canelo is chopping at the bits to fight someone, the outcome always ends up in his favor. Why is he so gun-ho to fight Jamel Charlo? Like, doesn't that? I mean, even at a simple level, you got to ask yourself that question. Damn, this nigga is really jumping at fighting Jamel Charlo. Like that should be glaring to you, with you knowing gifting decisions has happened, rehydration clauses has happened, cherry picking has happened, catch weights have happened. We have a history, man, with Canelo, controversy. If we didn't have all of this history and all of this intel with Canelo, it would have been a different thing. But we have all of this in front of us. And then on top of that, all of the advantages are in Canelo's favor. Come on, but we don't need to be rocket science here to figure out that Jamel Charlo's at a disadvantage. It doesn't matter that Canelo hasn't been taking the sport or this and that as serious. It clearly shows you how much he disrespects Jamel Charlo, that it's like, okay, yeah, come on. Because all he knows is that he's going to walk this motherfucker down and hit him with a power shot. Like, you guys have to also see that scenario playing out too. You can't sit here and say Jamel Charlo definitively is just going to dominate Canelo Alvarez. You mean to tell me in your mind you have not played out, well, damn, what if Canelo hits this motherfucker with a shot? What if Canelo stops him? Like, how can you not play that in your mind?
Here's the problem, though. The problem is niggas don't want to be ever infused with femininity, right? When at some cases, some people show femininity. They'll never, but the way their thought process is feminine. All because you feel a certain way don't mean how you feel can't be questioned. Women think that way. I feel this, so it can't be questioned. Everything is up for questioning, man.
Everything.
I said I wasn't going to address nobody directly, but I actually care about Oxtail. I'm not even talking directly to you.
Yeah, I'm not talking directly to you too.
I'm not even talking directly to you. I actually know you on a different level, man. You should know I'm not talking directly to you.
Yeah, I actually respect you as a brother, so I don't know why you
I might disagree, but you should know I'm not talking
directly at you, man.
But at the end of the day, what I said is what I said, and like what you said is what you said, and what I'm talking about is people who think because they feel some type of way strongly that it can't be questioned, and you're wrong for questioning how they feel. And if you feel something strongly, you should have the logic to back it up.
We should always be able to question each other, man, because we don't agree. Like, you don't agree with us. You think Jamel Charlo is going to dismantle Canelo. You think Canelo's been taking years off of boxing. I'm not arguing against that. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But to me, my point in my position is Jamel Charlo's never touched a power like Canelo. So it's going to be interesting to see when Canelo does weight distribution and loads a power shot on him. It's going to be interesting to see how he takes it. And I know with the intel history that I've had, there's no way he's going to take those shots. All Canelo got to do is hit him with a 3-piece combo or load it up and hit him with one flush. I just can't see Jamel getting out of that, man. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't.
I don't think he understands the argument. Canelo's under heavy heavy abuse. He's under heavy scrutiny right now.
Yep.
Nobody. Well, I'm not defending Canelo. I'm saying this whole fight is a farce. I'm saying Canelo's a coward for even being. I'm not defending Canelo. I just don't believe Jermell Charlo should be coming up 2 weight classes. And if he gets knocked the fuck out, I would not be surprised.
Yep.
And people, he doesn't have the endurance. He don't need the endurance. Nope. All he needs to do is walk him down in the high guard. Mm-hmm. Jermell Charlo not hitting hard like that where he can knock out Canelo in a high guard and then he just walks him down. They go be in a war. And I believe if the fight turns into a war and not a boxing match, that Charlo gonna get knocked out. Because Charlo has proven that he can't take the punches from the upper echelon of the fucking 154. He gets dropped by them when he's exchanging. If Canelo makes this into which is easy to do because Jermell Charlo's not that great of a boxer. Every time he fights, it turns into a war at some point in the fight. If it turns into a war with Canelo, it's gonna be bad for him. Now, saying that, I don't feel like that's defending Canelo. I feel like that's me being objective. I gotta be honest. I don't see Jermell Charlo being able to take too many flush punches from Canelo. I don't. And I don't think he's sharp enough to avoid him like Floyd. I don't see Floyd taking too many flush shots from Canelo in his face. Floyd blocked and deflected most of those punches. He was sharp enough to do it for 12 rounds.
I can't see Earl taking too many flush shots. I can't see Earl taking too many flush shots from Canelo. One thing we're going to do, and one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm for a fighter, but I'm not going to sit here and say that the fighter doesn't have certain abilities. Yeah, Canelo's pretty good, man. And Canelo in flashes can fuck you up.
Here's the thing.
He can fuck you up in flashes, man. And I just don't see Jermell Charlo being able to handle that punch resistance. I don't see it. I'm sorry. He's the weakest fucking link. I don't trust him. If it was Jermell Charlo, man, Jermell Charlo would knock out Canelo. I already know this. I don't even bat my fucking eye. I'm gonna be honest with you. Errol Spence is smaller than Jermell Charlo, but Errol Spence is way more defensively responsible, and Errol Spence will make sure that he does not get hit by enough high power from Canelo to where he would be able to nullify Canelo. But here's the thing. Jermell is the weakest fucking link. Jermell Charlo is not Errol Spence. Jermell Charlo is not Jermell Charlo. He is not defensively responsible like those guys. And Canelo knows this, man. And Jermell is gamey for exchanges. Guys that love exchanges always get themselves stopped because they end up barking up the wrong fucking tree and the wrong fighter that will hurt them when they do exchanges and will drop them. Canelo can drop Jermell Charlo when Jermell Charlo goes into that venomous Viper. You can't do Viper against a guy as powerful as Canelo. If Jermell wants to win this fight, he has to win it on his back foot. He's going to win this shit on his toes. And Jermell has not proven that he is a fighter that can fight on his toes 12 fucking rounds. I'm sorry.
These things aren't comparable. Ryder is somebody who was fighting at that weight class, who was accustomed to being at that weight class, and who was accustomed to being punched at that weight class against people bigger than Canelo.
John Ryder's a tune-up, but John Ryder is definitely a guy at his weight class.
Yeah, but hold on. And so he's used to being hit by guys bigger than Canelo.
Yep.
Jermell Charlo is not. He's not. And you gotta understand, he has to go up 2 weight classes where he's been fighting at 154. He's skipping 160.
Never fought there.
He's not even getting accustomed to 160. He's going right to 168. He's about to be fighting against somebody who's been fighting guys at 175
and 168 for years. Come on, man.
There's so much going to ignore all that just because I don't like Canelo. I can't do that.
That's a bias right there.
And what I'm saying is, I'm telling you just how much I'm against Canelo for taking this fight because there's so much shit on Canelo's side.
Yep.
What I'm saying is both of these guys are scumbags for this fight. This is not a good fight for boxing.
It's not.
Benavidez
and to build it both undisputed what? Yeah. They're not gonna sacrifice. Nobody sacrificing belts here. Yeah. Come on, man.
Canelo didn't fight Charlo all these years for a reason, man.
Yep.
But as soon as the opportunity comes for
to
Jamel,
fight the weakest fucking
he
link,
makes
of
it.
course.
He makes the fight.
He signs on the dotted line.
Every time he was going up to fight one of those Eastern European guys we don't give a fuck about, or guys in the UK, he was trying to petition Errol Spence to come up to fight.
Yep.
He wasn't trying to petition. He wasn't trying to fight Andre for Undisputed. He wasn't trying to fight Jamal Charlo, but he wants to fight Jamel. He wants to fight Jamel. He's chomping at the bits for Jamel. Think about that, man. He knows this guy can't hurt him.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He knows that. He knows for a fact this guy can't hurt him. And he knows for the fact that he has all of this in his favor. That's why he's taking this fight. And
what's taking it?
On the flip side, this dude should never be taking a fight that his brother's been clamoring for and that he has no need for it. He's going to take this fight. Let's say he loses in brutal fashion. Where does he go from there?
There you go.
Because now he's going to go back. You think he's going to fight Tim Tszyu when he goes back?
No. And see, that's what people don't understand. The aftermath of losing like that. How does he pick up the pieces after you were undisputed at 154? His best bet would have just been for his mandatory Tim Tszyu. And then after having that fight, win or lose, and move up to 160, man. That's the smart play. But no, you're going to go fight Canelo. Okay, I ain't mad at you. Go get your bag. But guess what? You're going to get knocked out and get in that bag, though. You understand what's coming with it, though. Understand what's coming with it. Canelo gets to resuscitate his career off of you. And this is what Canelo fans are going to do. Man, Canelo beat a Charlo. So you know what they're going to say? He beat both Charlos. I already know what they're going to say. I've been dealing with these Canelo fans forever.
Right. They're gonna say,
you beat one Charlo, you beat all of the Charlos.
Right,
and then they're going to say, you don't need to fight Jamal Charlo.
Right, they're going to say he don't have to fight Jamal because he beat the undisputed Charlo.
Yep.
That's what they're going to say, man.
Yep.
That's what motherfuckers not understanding. They're going to use one thing to talk about something they ain't got nothing else to do with it. The perfect example of a fighter moving up and fighting and steady moving up and then being quality fights and he didn't rob boxing by doing it is Tommy the Hitman Hearns. Tommy the Hitman Hearns fought the person he was supposed to fight, fought the people he was supposed to fight at 147.
Yep.
Moved up to 54. Fought the people he was supposed to fight at 154. Win, lose, or draw. Moved up to 160. Fought those guys. And mind you, he's becoming champions in all these weight classes. Moved up to 175. Fought the people there.
Yep.
That's how you move up, man. You moving up to all these weight classes and never becoming lineal champion because you're not fighting the man. That shit don't mean nothing. This is a waste of time, man. Because what does Canelo get from this fight if you beat Charlo? Literally.
Nothing.
He still ain't fight Jamal. He still ain't fight Benavidez. So what did he really get? You moved up a guy in 2 weight classes, you knocked him the fuck out. What you really get, man?
No, actually, this is what he gets. This is what he get, Ross. He gets a resuscitation of his career. His Mexican community fan base gets.
That's what he gets.
Canelo's back. You're gonna start seeing videos when niggas gonna say Canelo's back, and then you're gonna get Monty Brown TV, his biggest #1 fan. Canelo's back. And then you're gonna see a barrage of Canelo videos.
But the thing is, the problem with that is the casual voice don't hold weight with real boxing fans. That's why whenever something don't go their way, they all get quiet. The Canelo fan base been so quiet since he got his ass whooped by Beagle, it'll make no sense. So all he's gonna get is a bunch of guys who just want to see him beat a black fighter, cheering him on again. But guess what? That shit don't translate to dollars because his pay-per-view success has been dwindling. All this shit, Canelo got 2 countries behind him. He got Mexican people in America, and he got Mexico, the whole country. They don't believe in him because he should be doing the Floyd Mayweather numbers. Canelo's supposed to be doing Floyd Mayweather numbers, but he's not doing it.
Y'all forget. I got inside intel. Ox. This is why I'm speaking from a strong man's position. I've heard IBFP. Please don't get me IBFP. I ain't gonna do you like that. But I got a DM from this nigga from Twitter. I have a DM from this nigga from Twitter saying Canelo beats Mel, he beats Maul. I already know what the argument is. That's why I'm preparing y'all motherfuckers. Canelo beat Mel, he beats Maul. So why does he need to fight Maul? He basically beat both the Charlos. And y'all falling for this shit. Content creators are ready for Canelo to massacre Mel so they can already create their content. That's why when he told me that, I got ahead of it, and I'm telling y'all what I'm telling y'all now. But to get ahead of it.
But think about this shit here. Just think about this shit here, man. Mm-hmm. How you beat somebody if you didn't fight them?
Exactly.
But that's gonna show you how much these motherfuckers go off their opinions.
Yep.
Their opinions mean more than facts. It's because they spit their opinion out. You supposed to just honor it, and you're able to have no question of their opinion.
Because they know the fan base gonna galvanize behind that, man. He beat Mel, he beat Maul, so he beat both. They're already ready. This
is why I say certain things. Who talks like that? Don't women talk like that? Don't women make believe shit that didn't happen? Yeah. A woman will sit back and have a dream that you fuck somebody else or wake you up or argue with you about it.
Yeah.
And that shit didn't happen. They be like, so you cheated on me. Like, what you talking about? Yeah. I just had a dream you was getting your dick sucked by such and such. And that'll be a whole argument.
Yep.
That's the reason why we got to separate this. I'm calling it out. When a motherfucker say some shit, be like, you got to honor because that's how I feel. I ain't got to honor a goddamn thing.
No.
If you don't have no logic behind what you talking about, I ain't got to honor shit. And
vice versa. When I see bullshit, I'm going to call out bullshit. And I was like, man, IBFP, thank you for revealing your hand. So you know what? Let me just drop content immediately to say this is what's going to happen before it happens because I already know what's coming. I'm preparing y'all for what's coming. I already know what's coming. They already got content ready so that when Canelo beats Mel, they're going to say he don't have to fight Maul. And y'all fell for the bullshit because y'all allowed this fight to happen. The best way that you nullify this and say, no, fuck you, Canelo. We're not supporting this fight. You need to fight David Benavidez. That's it. And be done with the shit.
Because at the end of the day, what a lot of people don't understand is Canelo only respected by the Mexican Americans.
Yep.
The Mexicans in Mexico don't honor Canelo. And even some in America don't honor him because they see that he's ducking the smoke.
And they booed him. They booed him in the John Ryder fight because this Canelo said he would never fight. Here's the thing. Let me tell you how much of an asshole Canelo is. Canelo said he would never fight his hometown, Guadalajara. But he had no choice but to fight there. You know why? Because Bivol exposed him. Nobody wanted to see him, so Bivol exposed him. And then when he finally fought in Guadalajara, the fans booed him because of the type of performance. Because he basically showed how much he don't respect fighting in Guadalajara. There was rumors that said Canelo was drinking every weekend, man, in preparation for the fight. Come on. So, of course, he's not going to look the way he's supposed to because in his mind, he's like, I don't even want to fight there. I'm fighting a guy that I'm supposed to win on paper. So I'm going to just go out there and do whatever I want to do. Man, we have Floyd Mayweather saying, now Floyd Mayweather's never done this in real fights, but this is to show you how much he disrespected Conor McGregor. Floyd Mayweather said he didn't even train. He was in the strip club every day, literally. And then he just stepped into the
a master boxer don't got to train for an MMA fighter. A master boxer don't have to train for an MMA fighter at all. There's so many things they lack. They fight from a wide stance because they always ready to grapple. This stance gets you ate up straight down the middle.
Yep.
It gets your body ate up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Floyd already knew just by the way this dude fight, I don't got to train for him. And he don't got no win.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if this was, even though I wouldn't like this, but if this was Errol Spence moving up to fight Canelo, I would say Errol Spence is gonna win.
Yeah, easy.
This ain't Errol Spence, and Errol Spence wouldn't be doing this. It was Errol Spence could have been doing it, and he ain't stepped on Jamal Charlo's shows. So, but if he did do it, I would openly say I don't like this fight. I don't think Errol Spence took this fight. I wanted Jamal Charlo to have this fight. But then I would say I think Errol Spence win this fight because Errol Spence is better than Jamal Charlo in every way.
Way better than Jamal Charlo every fucking way. Defensively responsible, everything, dog. And he will make sure he don't get landed by no damn Canelo power shots, man. You gotta, when you fight Canelo, you gotta be. Floyd showed you that. Bivol showed you that. You gotta fight Canelo to where you avoid anything deadly. Jamel has proven that he gets hit by deadly shots. He's proven that, man. We saw that. Why do you think Tony Harrison was exposing him? Tony Harrison was hurting Jamel Charlo. And Tony Harrison don't got the power that Canelo has. I've watched both fights. Tony Harrison was hurting this man. In the second fight, Jermell Charlo started out earlier, and Jermell Charlo was more dominant. But even in the first half of the fight, Tony Harrison was still hitting him with shots that was hurting Jermell Charlo. Brian Castano, if you go look at the first fight between him and Brian Castano, Mel made it definitive in the second one. But in that first fight, Mel was getting hit with flush shots, and you could tell Mel was feeling those shots. You know when a fighter feels a shot. You know when the fighter feels a shot. So now imagine Canelo. Canelo is like, okay, this guy was pushing Jermell Charlo back. Okay. Tony Harrison got pillow fists, and he was able to, okay. All right. So all I got to do is win this motherfucker, and all I got to do is hit him with a 3-piece, or all I got to do is put some weight on that damn punch. Okay, I'm going to do that. Fuck it. I'm just going to eat his punches, walk him down. This is what Canelo's plan is. Canelo's plan is not to box Jermell Charlo. He knows he is not a better boxer than Jermell Charlo. But what he does know is he's going to walk Jermell Charlo down, and he's going to hit this motherfucker with a power punch. We already know how this fight is going to play out. The question is, as a boxing fan, are you prepared to know in your mind how this fight is going to play out? And then when Jermell Charlo gets knocked out, this is what you're going to start seeing. Niggas are going to come to the epiphany, Ross, and they're going to say, damn, man, Mel shouldn't have took this.
Yeah, man. That's what I don't like. That's what I don't like. What I don't like is the majority of people, not all, the majority of people that's claiming this fight is a fight when if Jermell Charlo lose, because mind you, I don't care for neither one of these guys. I don't like guys,
neither one of them.
I don't like guys who disrespect their family members like that.
Yep.
And because that's deep-seated psychological shit. And I really don't honor Canelo. Canelo is a little slippery, slimy little motherfucker. I don't like that one of these motherfuckers. So if Canelo lose, what that mean to me?
What that mean to me?
All the fuck that mean to me is he more overrated than I thought he was.
More overrated. He more exposed.
But I believe Jermell Charlo gonna lose for the simple fact every time Jermell Charlo, even when he fight against people who he's supposed to win against or he's supposed to be more competitive, every time he starts trying to overly compete with his brother, he takes a fucking loss or he looks horrible.
The curse. There's a curse that come behind that. And
I just think that he'd rather lose against Canelo than Tim Tszyu. Mm-hmm. That's why he'd rather lose against him.
And go look at an interview. I want you to go watch an interview with Jermell Charlo. You could tell he's low-key ducking Tim Tszyu because in the interview he says, Tim Tszyu, you've seen all of his fights, and you see he's just knocking guys out. He's just taking guys out. This is what Jermell Charlo said. Jermell Charlo said, well, he was on his home turf. He was in his home crowd. He was doing things on his own end. So when he fights me, that's not going to be the case. He's going to be on my home turf. He's going to be on my home crowd. Fine, that's understandable. You're undisputed. But this is where I could say his confidence wasn't all the way solid. He said, if I lose the fight, I lose the fight. If I win the fight, I win the fight. What fighter talks like that?
Right. If you lose,
if you confident, you ain't gonna say if I lose. That tells me Tim Tszyu is an opponent that you know can beat your ass.
Yeah, what you mean if you lose?
You're talking 50-50 to me. If I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. What the fuck? You supposed to be Jermell Charlo. You supposed to be confident. Why are you talking like that? Jermell Charlo ducked Tim Tszyu, dog. When I heard that, I said he ducked him.
The thought crept into his mind. And you gotta understand, that should be the beginning of the duckage is when you start believing fighters can actually beat you.
Yep.
And we start believing fighters actually beat you, because then you start doing shit to try to derail the fight or whatever. I knew Bud was gonna have to be forced into this fight when they first had that face-to-face meeting.
Yep.
And Bud was saying shit like, you a weight brother, you just big. All you gonna do is go to the body, and he's just saying certain shit, and he's projecting his insecurities. He started talking about how big he is. You just big, man. You fat, man. Trying to shame him, trying to get him to leave, like basically trying to make everybody say that he's too big to be at 147. He doing all this shit to avoid the fight. Him not going to PBC in the first place, that lets me know this guy don't want this fight, man. I called this shit years ago. I said,
Remember what he told Spence? If you go to the body, He's basically doing a plea, a cry. Do not go to the body. But people didn't catch that shit. If you go to the body, he knows that's what Spence gonna do. He's gonna go to the body.
Yeah.
He was just trying to see if Spence don't go to the body in that fight. But it was interesting that dude at Planet Fitness, it's the way he broke it down. You know, when somebody say some shit that's powerful, somebody you just sit back and you listen. He just said, "Listen, this is how Spence gonna beat up Crawford." And I said, "Man, I got to share this to Ross." And once I shared it to you, he was like, "Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen." He said he gonna take away them shoulders. Then once he take away the shoulders in the first 3 quarters of the fight, then in the second quarter he gonna eliminate the body. Then when he eliminate the body in the second 3 quarters, then the third 3 quarters he's gonna go for the face. I'm like, damn. And he says, you don't be surprised between 8 to 10, but I got an 8-round TKO KO stoppage. I'm like, damn. He said, yeah, he gonna beat that motherfucker down. He gonna beat that motherfucker up.
And here's the thing, man. When it comes to Canelo, I mean, not when it comes to Canelo. When it comes to Errol Spence and when it comes to Bud Crawford, when Errol Spence throws punches, you know how niggas when they jab, they typically just jabbing for the head.
Mm-hmm.
And when they throw the punches, they typically throwing for the head, or they typically throwing for a soft spot in the midsection.
Mm-hmm.
When Errol Spence fights, whether Errol Spence lands or misses, he rarely hits nothing.
Yep.
When Errol Spence fights, he always hits something on you.
Yep.
So whether it counts or not, your body's being broken down. So you might not. A punch that gets the shoulders might not count, but he's technically placing those punches to where they hurt.
Yep.
You blocking them, they hurt. The elbows. You get hit on the elbows. You know what I'm saying? He might not get you on the side. He might get you like in the back somewhere because you done turn, but you still feeling all that. Next thing you know, you've been hit everywhere but the bottom of your feet. In the fight, man, and you getting broke down. Because most niggas don't have that dog. They think they have a dog.
Yep.
But they don't.
And Crawford gonna learn the dog that he is. Chihuahua. He gonna learn that shit.
They don't have that dog. People don't understand. There's a lot of dogs, man, but there's different size dogs, man. You got poodles, you got chihuahuas, you got bull masters. There's different dogs. You got dogs they use to train bulls. You got dogs they use to herd big ass rams and sheep and shit. Dogs that be getting headbutted by rams and just still be cool. You got different dogs that's built differently. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like say for instance, there's a lot of dogs that have been at heavyweight. Muhammad Ali is the biggest dog at heavyweight ever seen.
Yep.
He went toe to toe because he ain't had no choice because he ran out of athleticism, but he went toe to toe with George Foreman.
Yep.
Big dog, boy. You know what I'm saying? George Foreman was busting open heavy bags and shit. Big dog. He paid for that, but that's the dog. Floyd Mayweather, big dog. Errol Spence ruining people's careers. Floyd Mayweather was sparring with him all damn near what? How many minutes? An hour off and on? 5-minute rounds, 7-minute rounds, 17-minute rounds. Still had a career after that. Who else could do that? Big dog. Terence Crawford damn near getting stopped by Gamboa. Little dog, man. It's difference in dogs.
Yep.
They the same species. They're canine species, but they not the same.
He gonna get broken down, man. It's gonna be bad.
You know what I'm saying? They're not the same, man. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the way I see this shit is going back to Errol Spence and Terence Crawford is it's gonna be anticlimactic because people believe Terence Crawford to be something that he's not. Yep. So remember, everybody was, man. Do you see what Manny Pacquiao did to Ricky Hatton at the Floyd? You see what Manny Pacquiao did such at the Floyd? So they thought they was on the same level. You get these guys in the ring together, and you see that there's clearly 2 different levels of boxing. Yep. The same thing gonna happen. It's gonna be anticlimactic, and people are gonna, because they can't understand that there was always levels. They were never the same. They're gonna start trying to rationalize what they saw and saying, well, Terence Crawford was out of his prime. That's why he got whooped like that. Yep. Terence Crawford ain't shit but 36 years old, man.
They gonna make excuses, man.
If you just as good as Floyd, and you the pound for pound, 36 ain't old.
It ain't old.
Because you got to pick a struggle. You can't be the second coming of Floyd. And Sean Porter said yesterday, Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather Jr. is in the same breath. Well, you can't say that and then go and say that Terence Crawford out of his prime when he get whooped by Errol Spence.
Yep.
Can't say that.
And we know why Sean Porter's saying that. He's just bitter about the fact that Errol Spence retired him. We know why Kell Brook, in front of his grandma, when grandma said Spence immediately, he turned around and said, well, Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford retired him. Let's just be honest here, man. These guys are bitter. Chris Algieri, Terence Crawford's going to win. But we have intel and video of Terence Crawford football 40-yard dashing Chris Algieri. So what is it, man? Really, what is it? What is it? What is it all about? It's all about the fact that you guys don't realize that this fight is going to be a very easy fight. And when we boil the fight down, the fight is going to be easy to call. It's a very easy fight to call. One guy's bigger, one guy's stronger, one guy's more durable, one guy has fought the better opponents, one guy has basically showcased that he sends guys to the hospital versus another guy who has not showcased that, who has fought tomato cans, who has fought lesser opposition. Even his lesser opposition is saying, and i.e. Hank Lundy, when Errol Spence fights Terence Crawford, he's going to punish him. Even they know that because they had moments of success against Terence Crawford. If you look at the Mean Machine fight, Mean Machine had 9 months off. He was fighting a Errol Spence style gone wrong, and he dropped Terence Crawford. I don't know why people don't pay attention to these things. Now you got Errol Spence, the actual originator of the style, and you think the fight is going to go a different way? Come on, man. And this is when he says I'm going to break him down. Terence Crawford mentally is not going to know what's happening. But like Ross is saying, physically, his body's going to tell us what's going on. I'm going to love this moment because in this moment, what we're going to see is Terence Crawford is going to have a shock system. His body's telling him one thing and his mind is telling him another. He's never experienced this before in the ring. And that's what's going to happen. When his mind finally catches up to what his body's doing, that's when you're going to see Terence Crawford is going to say he's going to quit. Because when you physically can't go no more, it's happened to the best of us. When you physically can't go no more,
in boot camp,
you quit.
In boot camp,
yeah, in boot camp,
you are pushed to your limits in boot camp.
Yep,
you know what I'm saying, and you still die after that, but it's futile. You ever did so many push-ups to where you can't even lift your body up?
Yeah,
there's so many sit-ups to where you're trying and you're just struggling. And most people never. You know what? Most people never done that before. They never ran till they couldn't run no more. You never did jump jacks so you thought you was going to pass out. You don't know what's going on right now. Errol Spence puts you in a predicament to that. And you have to be a dog of all dogs. You got to be very in shape. You got to be Floyd Mayweather in shape. You got to be Martha Haggard in shape to deal with that. Most motherfuckers not. They've never been to that level to where they can keep going when they want to quit, when their body telling them it's over with.
And Terence Crawford showed me he's not serious because Terence Crawford said he's going to train the same way. Well, that's going to make you get stopped even quicker. He's like, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. Understand the level of opponent. See, Sean Porter understood the level of opponent he was facing. That's why Sean Porter did things differently. That's why he came in the best shape of his life. You fighting Errol Spence, you should have had Floyd Mayweather in your camp giving you instructions. You said, fuck Bo Mack and everybody else. You should have Floyd Mayweather giving you instructions so you could at least survive in that fucking fight.
I love Mayweather to death, but Mayweather was taught from the time. You know how see what Mayweather doing with his grandson? That's what was done to him. So when they said that he was 3 years old working in what's the name and he was boxing, they're not exaggerating because you can see Mayweather's doing it with his grandson. What Mayweather does has to be embedded in you when you are a toddler, man. There's nothing Mayweather can do to help this man. All he can do is ruin his reputation by going to his camp. They'll be like, man, Mayweather's the reason. Because this is what they'll say. They'll say he would have won if Mayweather was in his camp. You understand when you're dealing with a fan base like three of the worst fan bases I ever seen in my life. has been Tyson Fury fans,
Mm-hmm.
Manny Pacquiao fans who swept it down to this day. He was cheated by Floyd. And Terence Bud Crawford fans, man. It's always an excuse with them.
Always.
There's no reality. It's always an excuse with them, man. So when he lost, and if Floyd would have gave him some type of advice and he would have lost, they would have said, man, Floyd sabotaged him.
Yep.
If it wasn't for the horrible advice Floyd gave him, he would have won. That's what they'll say. They would diminish one of the best fighters who ever laced him up to save Crawford's face.
Mm-hmm.
So now Floyd don't even say nothing to him. Ain't nothing Floyd can do to help this motherfucker, man. Nothing. Because what Floyd knows, it'll take Crawford a whole nother career to learn. He'll have time to learn that shit. He's not nice enough. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Well fucking said, man. Man, is there anything else you want to say on this live?
Man, I don't want to say a goddamn thing more, man. I'm through, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just ready for this fight to happen so that I'm ready to see everybody cry. I'm ready to see all the excuses. I'm ready to see everybody cry. I'm even ready to see this Canelo Jamel Charlo shit unfold.
I'm ready for that one.
I'm ready to see everybody with their excuses. On both sides. Because I don't think it's going to be a draw. On both sides, I'm ready to see everybody's excuses.
Yep, it's going to be a knockout. The damn show. You see, and this, I have nothing else to say. That's the first time I have nothing else to say after that, man. It's been real. He closed the show. Y'all take care. Peace.